The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Welcome to World Class Bullshitters, the epitome of pop culture. I'm your host, Jeff Hicks, and with me today is the one, the only, DeAndre.
Baby, boys and girls, children of all ages, and unlike Blockbuster and your dad, I'll never leave you.
What the fuck? Up next is Kendo Slice. What's up, Kendo?
I'll have two number 9s, a number 9 large, a number 6 with extra dip, a number 7, two 45s, one large, and a large soda.
Cutting back. I'm proud of you, bro. Yeah. And now, finally, ladies and gentlemen, we are joined by a guest all the way from the Nerdrotic channel. It's Gary. What's up, man? How you doing?
I am doing well. I have nothing clever to say. I'll use my favorite Jim Morrison saying, "The future is uncertain and the end is always near." Sleep tight, folks.
Ooh.
Welcome.
I am a fan.
Now I want to cut myself.
So, yeah, folks, we are back. It is episode 164 of World Class Bullshitters, and we got a lot to talk about. There's this Captain Marvel situation, which we'll cover a little later in the show. But first, tonight, we want to talk about the big news. Aunt Becky from Full House is going to jail. Dion, how are you taking that right now?
I'm struggling right now. I keep expecting Uncle Joey to come out and make a joke and make it seem like it's all fine, but I can't get the next season of Orange is the New Black out of my head, and it's Aunt Becky telling me this. It's okay, dude. I just can't deal with this shit.
Cut it out. I'm sorry.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Dude,
No. I was going to say, John Stamos was reached for comment, and all he said was he hopes Judge has mercy.
I'm embarrassed by my own show.
I'm embarrassed
Gary,
that I know that reference.
Not to put you on Front Street, but you're slightly older than some of us. You remember Full House. Were you embarrassed back then when it was new?
I was. I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now, but I can pretend to be concerned about what you're talking about. But yes, I live in the same city it's supposedly filmed in, so there's that.
Oh, nice. San Francisco.
So you know Tommy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got poop on the streets. It's great. We have a poop patrol. Yeah. It's all over the place.
Gotta love that California.
Yeah. Oh, man.
So, folks, without any further ado, we're going to start talking about the Endgame trailer, the Avengers Endgame trailer. So if you're out there watching, and we know you are, let us know in the chat what your thoughts were about this. Because, after the last couple of weeks of all this Marvel I don't want to say Marvel negativity. Let's just say Marvel stupidity. This comes out, and for the most part, I was impressed. So we'll start like we always... We'll start with you, Gary, since you're the guest on tonight's show. What did you think of the Avengers Endgame trailer?
I'll just repeat my tweet from earlier today. It was like the best sex being interrupted with the news that your cat died at the end. I still love the trailer. I've watched it like 4 or 5 times, but that ending just, if she was just standing there, it would have been fine. But her little smirk to Thor, and then Thor having to give her that affirmation, like, "I like this one." It's just like, oh my God, it's actually happening. I never thought it would actually happen in the MCU. I thought Captain Marvel would be a one-off, but I think it's happening. I'm going to hope for the best, but hope is not a strategy, Jeff. So,
well, I will wait to go till the end, but I'll just give a spoiler. I had the exact same thoughts. Now, Dion, you and I have been friends for 11 years this year. Yes. And I always say that our friendship mirrors the MCU because we started talking about that Iron Man trailer that was coming out.
Yes.
Where he's flying through the clouds when we first met. So our friendship is kind of, don't worry, when the MCU goes away, we'll still be friends. Don't worry.
Good. I hope so. Jesus. It's going to be
we'll
weird.
Have DC and Star Wars to talk about. But all joking aside, what were your thoughts about this? You and I have the same level of hype going in.
We do. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I was super fucking pumped. I think that the majority of fans, Gary included, that have listened to the show, know how much, not just you, but know how much, or not just me, but you as well, but know how much of a Marvel mark I am. Outside of the first Avengers trailer, and then I think the trailer for fucking The Dark Knight Rises, I'm super fucking excited for this. and listen, everything that's going on, and despite how goddamn unlikable Brie Larson continues to be, and how she refuses to acknowledge the fact that the only people who like her aren't old enough to fucking reach the gas pedals in the first place. I loved her part in goddamn the trailer. I fucking to see her smirk outside of the 3 times she did it in the goddamn Captain Marvel movie, that was cool to me. That was actually them for a second showing that, yes, America in the universe, people can like Captain Marvel, particularly Thor, which I thought was very fitting for him to be like, she walks up, he's looking mean, he calls fucking Stormbreaker over, and I'm like, he's gonna fucking hit this bitch. And this is the trailer, so I'm getting a little too, I'm getting a little pre-ejaculate over here, and I'm just like, he's gonna bust her, and he goes, I like this one. After she smirks, I was like, that's actually pretty cool. That was actually pretty goddamn cool. So I at this point, if there's anyone that can fucking fix the butt fuckery, even though I like the movie, that can fix the butt fuckery of Captain Marvel, it's the goddamn Russo brothers. I mean, can these dudes do no? Even the fucking teaser and the trailers make you say, you know what? I like this bitch.
Kendo.
All in for most part. Got the emotions going. It was great to see the flashbacks, to see how far we've come, and then they wrecked it.
Yeah, I don't want to just jump on the hate train, but I'm with Gary. I watched the trailer. I was into it. I didn't really like the first Endgame trailer. Back when I was doing Good Morning Pop Culture, I did a live react, and I was like, and it took, a little bit for me to get the hype back. So I watched this trailer, and I'm like, yes, everything they're showing is yes, 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 yes. And then, they did a little stinger. I almost turned it off because since Captain Marvel didn't appear in that entire trailer, I knew she'd be in the stinger. And when she showed up and it was with Thor, I thought, fuck, she's going to hold the hammer and they're going to really, put this chick over. No, it didn't happen. But I'm with you about, it's sex and then your cat being killed was what interrupts it. That just kind of took me out of it because the wound is still fresh. We're only a week removed from Captain Marvel, which is my least favorite MCU flick overall. And I'm not really interested in it. She feels like an outsider.
Well, I think that's not going to change because, one, Brie Larson has done her damnedest to be unlikable, and two, she's the freshest movie. And then again, they specifically went back and retconned a lot of the history to fit her in. That all being said, I think that we're dealing with a 90% done steak and 10%. Captain Marvel's the fucking asparagus on the side that no one really wants to eat, but it's part of the meal, but you're gonna eat the shit anyway. That's what she is at this point.
I like asparagus though, Dion. A lot.
Yeah, I bet your ass like asparagus. You a liarish fuck. but again, and right now it's topical and it's cool to kind of shit on Captain Marvel. And deservedly so.
I would say, is it cool if it's a deserved dump on?
It is. It's definitely deserved, and but again, it is cool because the vast majority of people dumping on Captain Marvel and Brie and Marvel right now, have the right to do so because one, they're paying money, and two, because no matter what Vox and Comic Books Online and Vice and what was the other one that did that whole they got back at the trolls shit, no matter what they all say, the fact of the matter is you guys don't read comic books, and number two, you cannot explain the fucking plot holes, the awkwardness, and the bullshit that came before the trolls even jumped on the train. So that can't be avoided. At the same time, there's no legitimate reason as to why she didn't ruin the fucking trailer. I think she fit, it worked out, and especially the way they did it, I thought was the perfect way to put her into the final story.
I wouldn't say the final story because all you've seen is literally 3 seconds of her smiling. Every other character, like anyone that wants to argue, what about Black Panther? That movie came out right before Infinity War. Well, Civil War came out 2 years prior.
Right.
So no other character has appeared and then just been like part of the team so quick. It's like Rey with The Force Awakens. It's just like all these bad, poorly written characters. They don't do anything to gain the audience respect or the character in the film's respect. They just appear, and then we're told they're great, and everyone just buys into them. And it's not even a Mary Sue thing; it's just a straight up badly written character thing. And
Right.
that's Captain Marvel to a T. That's what do the Avengers need with her? If she's so overpowered, that takes away from their struggle.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that, if she is so important, if she is so powerful, there is not a human on the goddamn planet Earth, and I'm not exaggerating, that can explain why it took until fucking Infinity War for him to page her. You can't tell me that. And that's what the problem with retconning is when you think you are fitting something into an overarching story, that you shit on some of the things that you established were a rule. So what they established through multiple movies, of all the Infinity Stones, the Tesseract is the one that we focus on. The Tesseract is the one essentially that kicked all this shit off. So for them to use the Tesseract in Captain Marvel and then to forget that, hey, that was the Infinity Stone in the first Avengers movie. So everyone in the universe knows what the Tesseract is. The Asgardians know what it is. The Skrull, the Kree, the Chitauri, Thanos, obviously
Aunt May, Uncle Ben.
But even Thanos's allies and enemies know what it is, because they all know what the Infinity Stones are. The most powerful characters in this story know what they are. So for there to be an invasion in the world's greatest city, an invasion that pushed Fury to bring the Avengers together and in a way toy with them like a puppet master, that wasn't enough for him to page Captain Marvel. That doesn't make no one can oh, well, that wasn't, bitch. As far as he knew, the city was going to get nuked and invaded. You can't tell me that he wouldn't have paged her then. That is a plot hole. That's the definition. And all you writers out there that write for half-cracked art websites out there, I would love for you to fucking sit down, tell me what the explanation is. She was gone for 20 fucking years. He didn't page her until the end of Infinity War. That's a fucking plot hole.
It's a major plot hole. And okay, so sorry, my dogs are going to bark in the background, but okay, so she's not 20 years older, so she was obviously maybe traveling faster than light speed, but they didn't have that because they needed a light speed engine. So how is she not significantly older? Why did it take her so long? Why didn't it take her so long to get back? How did the Kree not know that Thanos was wiping out half the universe and didn't do anything about it? There's so many plot holes
when you specifically call them warrior heroes.
Yes, exactly. And they're a vast empire. They would probably know what was going on, considering that one of their own was working with them for a while. And God, he got ruined in that movie so badly. But just beside that, you can tell it was shoehorned in at the last minute because the way they retconned it. There's a million ways you could have retconned it where it made sense. Right. Where she wouldn't have been so old, but they had to go 20 years back, and they had to choose Nick Fury because it was a deliberate decision to make this is my opinions, by the way, not the opinions of the world-class bullshitters, that the patriarchy was the villain of this film. Well, how do you do that? You get the biggest big Mac Daddy in the MCU, and you cut him down to size by having his eye scratched out by a little kitty cat. It was so cute. And I bet you they laughed their asses off in the writer's room with the 16 writers who wrote this movie poorly. It's so much. And I have to give credit where credit is due is the reason I fully expected to walk out of Captain Marvel being proven wrong. Like what I did with Black Panther. I wasn't crazy about the marketing for Black Panther. It wasn't as bad as Captain Marvel, but I walked out of Black Panther going, that was a good movie. That was a good movie. Well written, well done, good bad guy, good movie. And I thought I would be proven wrong again. And I could separate what Brie says if she put in a good performance, but them being purposely, I know a lot of people don't think there was a lot of agenda in this film. I'm going to do a scene by scene breakdown when I get a Blu-ray of this, just to show every instance. It was oozing at the pores with agenda. And that's why they chose Nick Fury. And that's why because they took the hardest path of retconning to this film, and they really do some damage. And it's because of the feminist hero's journey. And I have to credit Professor Geek with that, which is basically you wake up, you're awesome. You're not sure why you're not totally awesome. And then you find out that a man has been keeping you down this whole time and you've always been awesome. The feminist hero's journey. Now, not real feminism, just this current Hollywood bland version of it, whatever the hell it is. I know it's probably not the proper term for it, but that's what this movie was to me anyway. And that's why I had such a huge problem with it.
I feel similar. Excuse me. I'm dealing with a cold. No, I feel similar. I would say I'm sure there was agenda behind the scenes. I just think what makes me laugh, actually, Gary, is the fact that if there's agenda, there is agenda, but they put it into a movie that was so poorly executed, and they didn't pull the wool over everyone's eyes like they did with The Force Awakens, where not necessarily a feminist agenda, but straight up their agenda was to, I don't know, redo Star Wars in the laziest possible way for the next generation by retelling the same story, essentially. With this, and it worked on some people. The nostalgia kicked in, they bought it. It took years for them to wake up to it. With this movie, they just lumped all of this ideology onto a poorly made film. I mean, effects-wise, there were shots that didn't look that great. There were stupid points to the movie, and I think Captain Marvel has done more damage than good. All the people that want to get on Facebook and act like, oh, these angry white dudes that don't like the movie, they're pissing their pants in protest. Marvel itself isn't in the same spot as it was, a couple years ago, and that's not a good thing. We're going down a path of this. If this is the future, I don't think superhero movies are going to be as relevant forever, or at least Marvel ones.
No, that's a very good point. And again, this is, I never really had a problem with again, and I've said this multiple times. I've never had a problem with movies if you're trying to get a point across, if you're trying to make a cultural statement, and a lot of movies, a lot more movies, do that a lot better than Captain Marvel did.
Every movie.
There are a lot worse ones, but again, there are reasons for them being bad, not having Marvel's budget behind them. But again, I still liked Captain Marvel. I still think that overall, it's a decent movie. But again,
you liked it so much that you fell asleep during the review.
Yeah, well, maybe if you guys had something different to say, but no, it was.
It's funny though because you fell asleep. The official score you gave it's a 4 out of 10. You gave it the lowest score.
Yep, give it a 4.
You did because you fell asleep. You gave up your right to vote. So officially on the record book,
we voted for you.
Right, but saying I gave it up means that it wasn't exactly mine. So you're admitting that it wasn't me. But yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine.
Calm down, man.
It wasn't mine. It's cool.
Is Brie Larson trying to pay you off or something? She's not going to sleep.
If she's doing something off, it definitely isn't to pay me. I'll tell you that right now. But she's doing something to get me off. But again, and that's the problem that so many fans of Captain Marvel don't want to admit. You saying that there are trolls, like this is a new phenomenon. You trying to say that trolls tried to bomb the movie while refusing to admit that Marvel and a lot of Rotten Tomatoes users, fake users, tried to prop it up. You bring up specific examples of specific users and profiles saying weird shit, but again, not bring up the other side of that same coin is you admitting that this is you have something else to gain, whether it be emotional or whatever, from this movie. You didn't watch the fucking movie. Plain and simple.
Well, you keep talking about these fans of Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel doesn't have this huge audience that the people that write these articles, the yellow journalists, claim.
There's like 6 of them. There's like 6
Captain
Marvel
you can
fans.
go back and look at the sales figures. Gary, you run a comic book store. I watched your video. I believe it was you that said you sold Captain Marvel books, but it wasn't to all these women, correct? Was that your video?
That was my video. And, I'm just one store, but it was in San Francisco. I had plenty of female clients and subscribers who subscribed to a lot of books. And Captain Marvel, even when it was Marvel Now, when the Kelly Sue DeConnick one came out, so that was I think the second last year in my store, and of course I ordered a crap ton of them to get the variant, and I didn't know what I was getting into with Kelly Sue DeConnick. I didn't know much about her, So I'm like, all right, we'll try it. And it was a bad book, and I had no female subscribers for it. And I went and rechecked. I still have all my records, and I went and rechecked. And even when Marvel Now was hot and everybody was buying everything from Marvel, I had 15 subscribers for Captain Marvel during like really peak Marvel. At the time, it was 2012. Yeah, 2012, 2013, when Marvel Now was going on. And I was selling, hundreds, thousands of Marvel books. And it was pretty good. And yeah, it just faded away.
I was spending $50 a week back then on comic books. Seriously, I couldn't get enough.
Wish I had a customer like you. That's a good customer right there.
But by that same accord, now that Marvel comics are in the toilet, I don't buy anything from my local shop. I'll go in and buy like an old EC collection of Tales from the Crypt or something, but I won't pick up new Marvel books just out of on principle. They're not putting out quality products across the board. Well, you could be missing out on this one or two these great books, but overall their attitude combined with less than stellar books, they haven't earned my money. That's how I feel about Marvel. But that's why I'm so adamant to try to nip this in the bud with the MCU, because we've all been there since the beginning. Nobody that really criticizes Captain Marvel no one's criticizing it because it's a female hero. People either criticize it because it's a shitty character, which Kendo has had to read some stories for the channel. And
don't remind me.
Yeah, you didn't enjoy those stories, Kendo. I'm working on something behind the scenes.
No, sir.
But another thing too, people don't want to be called terrible things. Just because you voice a differing opinion. Like, I'll voice a different opinion. I think Batman Begins is the best of the Nolan trilogy. There you go. That's a differing opinion than most people. But that doesn't make me a sexist or something because I don't like Marion Cotillard or something, So it's always hiding behind a bad piece of property with, terrible buzzwords. That's where the Captain Marvel disconnect comes from, Dion. It's not about, hating on it because it's cool. Some people are just pissed off because, you're protesting a bad product.
Which I understand, right? That 100% makes sense. But at the same time, when I say, someone's hating on it because it's cool, when you say blatantly, things that are either misguided or have nothing to do with the specific critique of the film. That's where I talk. So when people, it's bad because, if it's bad because Brie Larson was being a pain in the ass. I've said that multiple times. Brie Larson being unlikable, unworkable, and then at the very end trying to win back some kind of favor by going back to the movies, that will affect the bottom line of the movie, but that doesn't affect the movie in of itself. That's all the point that I'm making.
That's fine. And last week we made the point at the beginning of the show. We're judging the movie strictly on its merits. We've taken all the Brie Larson stuff out, and it still holds the same spot for me. She could have never existed until I saw that movie. I still would have felt the same way. It didn't do anything for me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. No, yeah, and that's totally fine. If that's again, if that's an opinion based on the film that you watched, then 100%, you do you.
But this movie doesn't need anyone's defense. It's a property like anything from Disney. There's nothing special to Captain Marvel. It doesn't represent anything. It doesn't do anything. It doesn't give voices to marginalized people. It does what something did 2 years ago with Wonder Woman, which Marvel had a movie in 2005 with a female lead, Elektra. ABC News was full of shit in that tweet too. We can go back to 1984 with Supergirl. There have been female-led superhero movies. There's nothing special about Captain Marvel. I mean, the next thing is they want their gay superhero and then their Asian lead and this and that, and that's fine. But once you run out of your first Marvel, where do you go? Because you can only appeal to small demographics, and people try to make themselves feel good by jumping in on these movies for so long before it's like, well, the next will have the next Jewish superhero and this superhero, and after a point, it's just,
right.
Where's the quality at? I mean, that's why, I haven't been disappointed in the MCU as of yet. Neither have you. Kendo has not. Gary, have you been overall pretty happy with the MCU?
Very happy. Extremely happy. And this won't kill it for me. This is, I think, the first dent in the armor, but we got to see how Endgame comes out. But the article came out. It's been picked up by everybody. Where Kevin Feige said they're going to be more inclusive and diverse, and on the surface, great, awesome, brilliant. Because the Marvel Comics has always been that way. We were just talking about Avengers Annual number 10, and go look at the roster, the Avenger roster. Go look at the superheroes in that movie that comic. It's half women, and it came out in 1981. So that's the problem. I think a lot. I mean, I don't want to speak for everybody, but a lot of us have is them coming out and they're lying. There's no first tier of anything. People, the comics have been like this. Comic books have not had a huge diversity problem. They are they're a reflection of their times. You can't judge people from 30 years ago. And certainly Marvel has made a lot of headway, even prior to all this, in that anyway. And during the Marvel Now era, there was tons of this going on, but there was no real politics in the books, and they were still enjoyable. And we're having separate arguments. Their argument against us who criticize the film, to some of us, they're trying to put a blanket over us that we're all sexist trolls when we don't like the movie, and they're just picking out a few bad actors. Right. And there certainly are. Absolutely. But that's
nothing different from any other movie that's been made in the last 50 fucking years.
Exactly. It's just everything's ramped up because it is the culture war right now. It's a fight for power, and those of us, like I'll speak for myself, who just want stuff brought into the middle. I mean, can I have stuff in the middle? Dion liked the movie. People out there like the movie. I have not and will not ever call somebody a name for liking a movie that I dislike. But I get plenty of crap. I can handle it, no problem. Anna, that Star Wars girl, got a nice little email today that she shared on Twitter. That was pretty nasty. That's what I wake up to every morning now over Captain Marvel. And I was criticizing Doctor Who and Star Trek, never got any of this stuff until I hit the MCU. So,
we got a lot of that too. It's like people are cool with dumping on the shitty direction of Star Wars. People can put up with certain politics, but when you touch MCU, like last year, people were going off about even Dion. I think you gave Black Panther the lowest score last year.
I did. When I gave especially, and even I think it was Hillary was on that one too when we reviewed the trailer, and we were saying the same thing. It's like, it doesn't look that good, blah 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 blah, and it was, oh, you guys don't, and we had to jokingly point out, hey, just a reminder, guys, Dion's black, Jeff is half black. So that ain't got shit to do with it, y'all. Obviously these two channels are very well aware of the 100% fickleness. And again, and using that to springboard into something else, that's another huge problem. It's not just people vying for, trying to sound, as much as I hate the phrase, virtue signaling so they can sound and portray themselves as this, altruistic person who was on the right side of history. You're being very clear in the fact that you don't read the properties. You never read Avengers #10. You never read early issues of X-Men. You never read, you didn't read the first few issues of Blade when he had a fucking afro and a fucking green jacket on and shit. You don't know what these are. But then you want to turn around and because it's popular and it's a movie now, try to make the point that, oh, these trolls are shitting on this property because of blah, 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 blah. And I watch the movies and I am progressive and I like people that aren't me. And it's like, clearly you're doing the opposite of that. You're proving that you're doing the opposite of that.
Yeah, all they're doing is really tearing apart comic fandom, because comic fandom, has always been a pretty cool place.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it wasn't the coolest thing before the Big Bang Theory made it sexy, in quotations. I never had been to a comic book store where people singled you out based on, who you were. Sometimes you liked a shitty book and they kind of gave you shit jokingly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dion, we used to dump on you for liking Kane.
Right.
But I mean, that never altered our friendship, and you never took it seriously. I mean, now with the internet, everyone's so goddamn hypersensitive, and there's a difference too. Not only are the people hypersensitive, but these bullshit websites, and sometimes reputable quotations marks websites, keep running with this stuff, and it becomes a bigger problem. I mean, the whole Rotten Tomatoes thing is really, really fishy. Like that was just kind of
and then to see them cover that shit up. I mean, people having screenshots of profiles that were made the day the movie came out, giving it 5 stars, and then again, Rotten Tomatoes saying, well, we're cracking down on trolls. And then they deleted, 50,000 reviews or whatever the hell the number was. And it only raised it from 32 to 30 fucking 5 or something. And it's like, but they don't cover that. They're not going to say, hey, these legitimate reviews of the movie give it a 35, and then again, now after all that, well, we're going to review our process and make people verify that they actually have seen the fucking movie. And the funny thing about that, it makes me laugh, is, okay, you're a movie review site. Okay, cool. You weren't doing that before? That's what's so silly about it to me. It's like, okay, I get that. You guys want to do that. You've been around for fucking years now. You just accept reviews until Captain Marvel? What have you been doing? What have you been doing with the ad dollars you get for commercials on fucking RottenTomatoes.com? You never verified that shit from critics before? What is the matter with you? So it's just, everyone's showing their ass on this, and it's really funny.
Why wouldn't they do something like this on the 1st of January to avoid any kind of confusion, any kind of controversial opinions? You say, we're the first of the year, we change.
Mm-hmm. And companies do that shit all the time. Whether, the first of the year, we're going to have a new policy. 2019 is when we're starting it. We talked about it, obviously, to prove that we've gone over it. First of the year, 2019, 2018, the beginning of the year, so that we have a full calendar year to tell everyone this has been our policy since the beginning of the year. Everyone can agree that the beginning of the year is a new start to fiscal years and all that shit. And they wait until Captain Marvel because all of the sudden, it's this huge fucking deal. No, it's because you want to be the go-to company that fucking Marvel invites to movie premieres. That's what you want. Just say that. I'd have a lot more respect for you if you'd say that. I'd have a lot more respect for you if you admit that, hey, yeah, we got rid of a lot of fucking fake profiles, what we call fake profiles, and the movie was still at 30-something%. And it's like, and again, going back to what you said about all these other websites, they didn't even watch the fucking movie. Whether it be, the Young Turks or Vox or Esquire, or all these other fucking websites.
Esquire trash.
Yeah, it's fucking terrible. That's why
they need to stop talking about Star Wars. That guy is a flat out liar.
Well, not only that, but he'll say shit in his article that clearly didn't happen in the movie, and it's really funny when he does that shit because none of his readers watch the movie. So they just want to be able to say that I have sex with women and I respect them. But
is that Williams guy? Is that, what's his last name?
Matt Miller.
Matt Miller. Yeah. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I've read him.
Who referenced the channel, but then he was still too much of a pussy to actually say it because so
he'll link to it, but then he tries to take a dig at Doomcock too.
Mm-hmm. And it's like, but you would never invite him or go on his show to argue him down, right? Because hey, he actually reads the fucking books. You just write about it from your mom's goddamn basement because you're cool.
Well, I mean, to me, him and Scott Mendelson and John Campea, they're all these people. We don't just pick them out because I have a personal problem with them. I don't know them, and I never want to know them. But the thing is, they always pull this bullshit, and they blatantly have an agenda, and they just keep, they keep perpetuating a lot of lies, and that's where I have a problem because, I know Nerdrotic, myself, a lot of other channels in the Fandom Menace, we always bring facts to the table. Yes, we clearly state our opinions separate from the facts, but we don't make up shit. Like when when I show articles, there's a reason I show the whole fucking article and read it to you and show you screenshots so people can't say I took it out of context and made it up. That's just not how we operate. I've watched your videos, Gary. That's how you do it too. But they don't operate within the same set of rules. And the thing is, the reason their websites and all this stuff are starting to clap back and there's weird happenings with YouTube and stuff right now, it's because fans have woken up to their bullshit. They come to people like us because what do we have to gain? I don't care if Captain Marvel makes $1 trillion tomorrow. What do I have to gain by giving it a bad review or a great review? I just gave you my honest opinion.
Right.
But those people need to have access to become popular because they have no opinions and they have no personalities. They're just, a keyboard and a couple paragraphs. They don't have any great witty prose or anything like that really keeps people coming back.
No, and there's a real resentment towards us in particular here on YouTube and people with large Twitter and Instagram presences because we're sole proprietors. We don't have people to answer to, and they are hugely resentful towards us over that, and it just oozes out in their articles, and it's really been the last week, and that's what I'm sorry, I'm going to plug my next video. My next video is going to be about just the events of the last week, and it really does expose Disney. I mean, it's again, it's the obvious, kind of like when I did the Access Media video, but it really exposed Disney's power. Like, and they had to flex their muscle against some fans on Rotten Tomatoes that might have gotten worked up from a couple of YouTubers, and we made a giant company flex their muscle, and it made everybody in the Access Media bend the knee and fall in line and submit, and whatever term you want to use, and put the full attack on us this weekend. It was incredible to see. So if the Access Media, while the Access Media is doing these victory laps going, got you trolls, it's like, we're, you know, like Jeremy says, we're parked in your head right now. Why? I mean, who knew we had that much power? I never thought that. And it's because of the subscribers. It's not because of us, you know, it's because of you there in the chat, you know, and the voices. And like you said, Jeff, they woke up, and that is very concerning to marketing departments and Disney, who's getting more and more power every day. You know, the Fox deal's about to look at how much power Disney has right now. And they have not, they don't have Fox yet. And once they get Fox, what kind of power are they going to have then? That's concerning.
Yeah, they'll own most of Hulu. They're going to have their own streaming service, all kinds of things. I mean, we've seen companies that they have claimed to be too big to fail fall eventually at some point in time. I don't think that'll be Disney, but I don't think they'll be powerful. But I think there will be other external forces that will try to challenge their power. I'm not saying us YouTubers. I'm saying like Universal Studio, Universal, other
Netflix,
places out there. Yeah. Netflix. I'm not saying I want these other companies to come together, but Netflix with their streaming and how much they have, even though I don't like most of their original content, or how Universal has teamed up with Nintendo and other things. You know, the future is very digital and game oriented and all these other things that, you know, are prevalent now, but will expand upon in the future. And that's one area that Disney can never get, is that digital, or it's not digital, that like video games and that kind of entertainment. Disney has always felt a little, I don't know, behind the times. Yes, they have their Kingdom Hearts game, but that's also Square Enix. That's also a whole other thing. But remember all the Disney and Infinity figures and all these other things. Disney can do movies and they can do theme parks, but for other things where, you know, other people will have their attention, Disney's not really going to be it. And that's where I think other people could come in and, you know, beat them.
Mm-hmm. And they'll probably take themselves down eventually. I mean, the drawback of buying all these properties and having to run them is they cost a ton of money. So while you're producing Star Wars and Marvel Comics films at the same time, while you're making billions, you have to put out billions, and you can topple under that. You guys, I don't know if anybody's sports ball fans, but I use this analogy a lot. But Disney bought the Ducks. Remember when they bought the Ducks and the Angels? This was back in the 90s, and they ran both of those teams like crap, and it almost buried the company, and they had to sell them. So the same thing could happen. And yes, they could sell parts of Marvel or parts of Star Wars. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but they could. They absolutely could.
I wish they would. Oh my God.
Yeah. You know, well, but even then, like, you don't even have to go that far. I think, you know, the biggest example of proof of all these things is Solo, is Last Jedi, is obviously, you know, we'll see once the major rush for Captain Marvel dies down after they're done talking about it breaking $300 million. But you know, Solo came out, and they were so sure that Solo was going to do well because it was just the trolls that were mad at the Last Jedi, and sure enough, Solo cost them fucking money. Even the Last Jedi, you know, oh, we're talking about how we're going to take a risk and we're going to pay homage to the fucking brand, you know, and then again, it came out and they had to do fucking damage control. You know, this is, you know, it's again, you know, to reiterate what you guys are saying, it's not Disney where they had to make the Little Mermaid do well in order to pay off all that shit. I don't think it's going to get to there, but you know, them having to backtrack after a major movie like Solo is a fucking giant example of that shit. You know,
Disney. When Bob Iger came out and had to say like, "Oh, we're slowing down with Star Wars."
Yeah, yeah, or even after fucking again. And this just happened, guys. A Wrinkle in Fucking Time. You had Oprah goddamn Winfrey in the lead of a movie that you were basing on a book that you were so sure was a lovable book. And it was, it's a young girl is the main, she's looking for her dad, and this is going to be a major movie, and it's going to be a reimagining of a loved bestseller. And it didn't fucking do well. And it cost Disney millions of dollars. Again, that's proof in the pudding. You can't blame it all on trolls every time. Right now, it's easy because Esquire and Vox aren't going to talk about A Wrinkle in Time. They're going to talk about Captain Marvel because it's a hot property right now. But they're not going to talk about A Wrinkle in Time. They're not, as much as they're going to praise Brie Larson, they're not going to praise what's her name? The girl that's going to end up being Batgirl, for her portraying a handicapped fucking supervillain, essentially, in John Wick 3. They're not going to talk about that and what a great stride that is. And that was at the beginning of the year, and it spawned a third entry in the fucking franchise. They're not going to talk about that, but they're going to talk about Brie Larson and her being at the movies in her best soccer mom outfit, giving out popcorn. It's very pick and choose, and every failure is proof positive of what the fuck we're saying. Simply,
You know what I love about this show?
What's that?
We said, hey, let's talk about the Avengers trailer. We literally have not spent a minute talking about the Avengers trailer. And that's fine. We're world-class bullshitters. But you know what we're going to do first? We're going to read some super chats. Then we're going to talk about the Avengers trailer because I want to have fun. Dion, Gary, you're big comic book readers. Kendo, you used to read a lot of comic books, so I don't want to act like you're not a part of this conversation. There is a lot of positivity, a lot of fun left in me. So let me just read these super chats and then we'll get to the Endgame trailer. Folks, thank you for being patient. By the way, we got, I don't know how many because YouTube changed. Can we get some thumbs up, folks? Thank you. So Dr. Coffin says, won't see you guys this weekend. You and Christina Ricci don't want the flu I got. Have to shoot for Indy in September. Flu shots didn't do shit. That's sad, Dr. Coffin because I have that Supergirl figure he told me to buy you. So I was going to give that to you. But next time, my friend, and be well. Logan Michael says Funko Pops are gayer than Xbox. Also, Dion, horse.
Fuck you.
The Ghost Legend 001, thank you very much. To Brie Larson, we don't like your jerk-off name. We don't like your jerk-off face. We don't like your jerk-off behavior. And we don't like you, jerk-off. And not just the men, but the women and the children, too. That might be the best comment ever. 2 movies cross-pollinating. I love it. Sire J. Longstroke says, I'm convinced whoever the owner of Disney is either a Sith Lord or an advocate for the New World Order, or both. And I'm not talking about Bob Iger.
Which New World Order, though?
The Too Sweet one.
Oh, okay. See, I'm down with that. I mean, Hall and Nash and Hogan running the fucking Disney. I'm in.
Let me tell you something, brother. We're gonna make 6 more 3 ninja movies. I almost said 3. Yeah, I was like, wait. Luke Bunting, thank you very much. Does anyone love Captain Marvel? No. Hashtag me too. All Out of Bubblegum says, all hail the WCBS. In tonight's episode, the role of Big Rig will be played by Gary. Hey, Dion. Horses. Love all you guys in a platonic way.
Smart asses.
We love you right back in the same platonic way, All Out of Bubblegum. Thank you very much.
I'm in San Francisco. It's not platonic at all.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Also at 6:20
shit on my doorstep.
Obi-Wan 27883 says, did you see the article about 25 seats of every showing of Captain Marvel Thursday to Saturday? There were no show pre-sale tickets. I smell dumpster fire. Discuss. I haven't been following that because I've been trying to get ready. By the way, folks, we're going to be at a convention this weekend. World Class Bullshitters. Gary, there's always an open spot at the table if you want to fly how many hours to fucking Cincinnati, but we'll take it that you won't be able to make this one, but there's always an open spot.
Oh, I would love to go, though. I would love to go.
Are you going to Celebration or no?
I'm not, but when is it again?
It's April 11th through the 15th or something?
Ooh. Maybe. I'll be in Italy until the 9th.
Ooh.
And I could do it.
Bring us some pesto.
I will. You got it, man.
Well, the thing is, we actually have a bar. I'm going to be making an official announcement, but we got something really, really awesome planned. possibly for that Thursday night. And we're talking like Fandom Menace, High Council, everybody's involved in a really fun thing. Better than anything we could have possibly planned. I'll tell you guys more about it off air, but folks, be prepared for Star Wars Celebration. And if you can't make it, if it's not feasible, if you're in a different part of the world, we have the okay to live stream the entire event that we're planning. So it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be here on World Class Bullshitters. So be prepared for that. But to answer your question, Obi-Wan 27883, I don't really know about this. When I went to see Captain Marvel, it said my theater was sold out, but it wasn't.
Same here. Okay, so what the theory is, real quick, is that a Disney or a side company or a charity or something bought up a bunch of tickets to inflate the ticket sales. This is similar to other business practices. Again, sports ball teams sometimes buy tickets to lift the blackout in the NFL, so it's not
Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah. Well, I'm an old Chargers fan, so that happened a lot too.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, that didn't work out at all. And now they can't fill a 25,000 foot soccer stadium.
Yeah, they can when opposing teams with big fan bases come.
That is true. I sit corrected. But so the theory is that Disney or another company bought up, and it was 25% or 25 seats. I can't remember. It was some even number throughout the theater, which definitely smells fishy, but I don't know. Why wouldn't you do that for other movies though? It's a tough one to prove, but if you lump it in with everything else that's gone on this weekend, there's been a lot of weird stuff. So there's been a lot of coincidences. We'll just say that.
Yeah, I've been really following you and Jeremy for that because, like I said, I'm getting ready for my show, so I don't have time for it. But next week I'll look more into it for our next more, long form Captain Marvel video. Thunder Robot says, I think Captain Marvel looked better in the Endgame trailer, so I think the brothers may have done a better job with her. So I'm optimistic. Plus, I didn't see Captain Marvel. Well, then don't.
Yeah, you're probably way off.
Yeah, you can just literally wait until that shit comes out on Blu-ray. Because
wait till it hits VHS, then watch Captain Marvel. Until then, no.
Own it on VHS.
You know what?
In a world.
Dude, they could put that on VHS because it takes place in the 90s, and you would have people go nuts and buy it on videotape. I remember video.
You joke. Wait till that shit happens because it's 90s nostalgia, like you said before, man. I wouldn't be surprised if they do the special edition, get it on digital, Blu-ray, HD, and VHS.
And Laserdisc.
Yeah. At your local Suncoast.
Yeah.
Or Media Play.
I miss Suncoast.
I do too.
Media Play. They were run by the same company. No, Disney, if you do that, cut me a check. Our P.O. Box is 5069, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45205. We'll accept nothing less than $1 million.
Yep.
Nicholas Glenn has 2 super chats. Do you guys think that Thanos is even the main villain?
For now, yeah.
Yes.
He also says, any of you guys think we'll see Kang?
Well,
not now, not for a while. I mean, he might be a side villain, but yeah, I don't see that being a major plot point, at least not until the post RDJ, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth era.
Yep.
Yeah, they really got to get through this, but still keep enough to keep people hooked. Because I think let's do a quick comparison of Marvel, the MCU versus Star Wars. Mm-hmm. Star Wars is built on the brand, and yes, Marvel is too, but every actor has a big personality, and when they're gone, you feel it. That's why I also think Captain Marvel has had such a disconnect with people. Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, everybody, even Gamora, who is, she's a big part of these movies, has something about her, a demeanor, some swagger, something that, when those characters are either written off or just, retire, there's going to be a difference. With the new Star Wars characters, nobody has the charisma. Nobody has the presence. Like back in the day, Harrison Ford had the charisma. Mark Hamill had something. But, these actors brought something to the role. That's where I think Marvel will fall the hardest. I think they'll have to supplement a lack of charismatic leads with a, groundbreaking effects and movie telling, original aspects to tell a story. Because, you can pretty much put Robert Downey Jr. in a plastic suit and in one room, and you could sell $1 billion in tickets because he can just do anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think too the other side of that is that there was an aspect of Star Wars, they went with unknown for the majority, outside of Alec Guinness, they went with unknown actors and actresses, and then they stumbled upon, these people who became cultural icons, and then, and even though they stumbled upon these crazy talented people, when they did the prequels, they didn't just repeat the same thing. They threw in Samuel Jackson, so there was at least an admittance that, hey, we're not going to do the same thing, follow the same fucking formula. And I don't think that Marvel did the same thing. I think, they know to bank on someone. And, again, that's what the problem with fucking, Captain Marvel is. They went to bank on Samuel Jackson, but then, the loudmouth of the project couldn't shut her fucking face. And she kept trying to buck up on everybody. So I think, again, we'll see what they do going forward. But yeah, I don't think they're going to make that mistake where it's like, oh, let's go with uncharismatic people that aren't likable. They're gonna try and keep that same momentum going.
They'll try. I don't think they'll be able to pull it off. For as much as I like the actor Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, I don't think he brings the same level as like a Chris Hemsworth. I don't think his character is as interesting.
I mean, yeah, we'll see.
We have seen multiple times.
He had, when we saw, he had RDJ. He had RDJ to fall back on. He had, Forrest Whitaker and all that shit to fall back on. After Endgame, it's different territory. If he's gonna be in a movie, he's not gonna have RDJ. He's not gonna have Chris Evans. He's not gonna have even fucking, he's not even gonna have motherfucking Bucky from Gossip Girl to fall back on. He'll be on his own.
Is that what he was from before the MCU?
Yep.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either.
That's why I'm world class, baby. Stick with me, you'll be all right. But
Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I remember
asshole.
Hot Tub Time Machine. Yes,
that's a great movie.
That's a great movie.
God, I love that movie. We gotta watch that shit for the channel. I love that.
We already have.
We have.
Yeah, we'll do it again. I'm not saying no. I'm just saying we have.
I said we'll do it for the channel. If I wasn't there, it didn't happen.
And then a lot of stuff hasn't happened.
Yeah,
exactly.
So we never saw Captain Marvel.
Nope.
Let's see. John Tennette, thank you very, very much. Saw a pretty legit leak weeks ago that described in detail the exact Captain Marvel 4 scene with Black Widow, Hawkeye, Rain scene. Claims real Cap, Nebula died, new supervillain equals Kang.
Well, I mean, that would explain some of the time travel elements of it. And that would be a connection to maybe the Young Avengers if they want to bring that in somehow.
Gary, do me a favor. Give a little bit of a background about who Kang the Conqueror is.
Kang the Conqueror is a longtime Avengers villain who is a time traveler. And but he would cause a ton of problems, though. I think there's too much Deus Ex Machina. But he's connected, like in the more modern version. I was just referencing the Young Avengers. There's Iron Lad, and I actually like the Young Avengers comic book. I don't know if you read it, Jeff, but
I have not.
It was really good. So they basically made like a Teen Titans for the Avengers. They had the unfortunate name of the Asgardian, though, which they had to change eventually for obvious reasons. They had Kate Bishop in there, and it's old time to bring him in. You would have to. He's a really good villain, but you'd have to. You couldn't do it. I don't know. They just shoehorned in Captain Marvel. So what the hell do I know? You would have to start. It would have to be a 4-hour movie. You would have to introduce his motivations. There's been retconning involved. He used to just be a bad guy who wanted to stop the Avengers, and conquer everything. That's why he was called King the Conqueror. I don't know if they'd use him for his name. There's a lot of reasons now you can't. Yeah, it's like why they won't use the Mandarin, who's actually a pretty good villain, if they modernized him a little bit or a lot, we'll say. I don't think they could. He's a time traveling villain who wants to conquer. And they've retconned it where he's tried to fix timelines, and they've made him a little more layered in the past. But I don't think they would put him in. Although John Tennette knows his shit, though.
Yeah, John Tennant, I know he's on a lot of the streams with you and Doomcock, and I always hear, him say stuff, but it's always, well researched. But I think it's straight up that you ever watch Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes that was on a couple years ago?
Yeah, that was a good show.
That's another problem I had with Marvel when Disney got involved. They canceled that show and they canceled the Spectacular Spider-Man. And those were two of the best Marvel cartoons, in my opinion, ever made. Ranks up there with X-Men, Spider-Man 94, stuff like that. And they canceled it to replace it with a Disney Channel equivalent, and it sucked. Yep. But that Earth Mightiest Hero show, man, they fought Kang, and it was one of the coolest episodes. He had this time-traveling chair, and Iron Man's armor had to learn how to read like an alien language. Yep. It was cool.
Well, maybe they get a hold of his tech in the movie and they introduce him later. But that's the best example for anybody who thinks they're going to migrate anything from the Fox X-Men into the Marvel universe. They had Marvel had two of its best cartoons right when the Disney sale happened, with Spectacular Spider-Man and Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and they canceled those immediately. Yeah, as soon as which sucked. I loved them both.
I bought the Blu-ray for Spectacular Spider-Man the day it came out. That is my favorite Marvel cartoon. Sorry, people that are my age that say Spider-Man 94. Go back and watch it. It's good, but after season 1, they just reuse a lot of footage and the story gets dumber and dumber.
Yep. No, the best Venom origin is in Spectacular Spider-Man. The way the whole Eddie Brock thing, so good.
Yeah, I'm sold. I watch that probably once a year, honestly, the whole series.
Me and Junior watch him all the time. It's his favorite. So
I even bought into the toys. Like, I'll never forget, Dion, it was our freshman year of college, spring break, and I came home, and what did I do my first day? I watched that cartoon.
I love the theme too.
Me too, man. I'm not going to sing on the show, but
sing it.
No, that's not my style. But I will read this next super chat.
Okay.
Miguel Olmo, that says, "You gentlemen should watch Final Space. Great animation, fun jokes, and some adult themes. God bless, gentlemen." Final Space, I've never heard of it.
I don't know what that is.
It's on Netflix. It's a cartoon.
Well, let me take a screenshot of that, and I will check it out. We're going to have some time this weekend between Horror Hounds, so maybe we'll pop that on between the Flat Earth documentary and The Room and Leprechaun.
Yeah. There's a Flat Earth documentary.
It is awesome.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Yeah.
Right before the Exozone.
Yeah, we were talking about, Nick was telling us about, so that's one of the things we're going to do after Horror Hound. We're kind of vegging out, resting up, is going to turn on that and see how long freaking out.
That's tomorrow night, Kendo.
Yeah. Bebop, we're excited.
I know he'll finally be able to respond in real time. Mexi Man and Cheese, thank you very much. SJW Media is like the Christian video games of the 90s.
That's a great analogy. I love that.
Man.
Bible Man.
Jesus, man.
TLJ Screwchop says, exactly. It's one thing if it's in the heat of the night. Wait. Exactly. It's one thing if it's in the heat of the night, but it's just ridiculous, especially the reason they call it a cockpit and Arnie. I'm gonna
the Arnie thing pissed me off.
What was the Arnie thing again? Oh, was shooting the cardboard cutout?
Yep.
Yeah.
I just knew we were off to the races. I mean, like, again, by itself, fine, but there's so many other little things and I cannot remember them all. But there's even a scene where the Talos is talking about, I might stay and take human form, because I love those beautiful blue eyes. And then they cut right to another scene where the little Monica Rambeau is talking to the little scroll and saying, "Oh, you don't need to change your eyes. They're beautiful the way they are." Again, a scene by itself, nothing, but you put it in with every single thing they did in that movie, and it's above 10. I may have seen somebody might have sailed the high seas and sent me something, and I might be able to do that review earlier. But yeah, I've been going through and muddling through it and finding things, and I'm trying not to look for ghosts. I know that's what I'm going to get accused of, but it's crazy how much is in that movie that we don't notice at first. And again, once in a while, it's fine, and the overall message is fine. We all want to be inclusive and diverse. We do. I am not against that ever. If I was, I'd be really miserable in the city I live in. But and I'm not. So, but God, that movie. So don't get me started again. It's so bad.
I won't make the mistake of ever watching it again. So
No, I won't.
If I missed it, I missed it.
I'm seeing it in little pieces. I don't count that as watching, but it's not in a big, I do it. It's going to take me probably 6 months to do this video, but I'll get it done.
Hey, it takes that long for Mahler to get his videos done. And look, he's got millions and millions of views on those things.
Yeah, that guy's good.
He is. I've had him on the channel before. He's a lot of fun to talk to.
Oh, I gotta find that.
I spoke to another. I've actually had Mahler on multiple times. He's going to come back on in April, I believe. We agreed upon it back in January. So, yeah, Mahler. And then this other guy, he's a British YouTuber who I've talked to. So that's going to be kind of fun, too. But anyway, I'm not giving any more spoilers. I'll tell you off air. Let's see. We got DJ Kong says, I'm still not able to submit a negative Rotten Tomatoes review on Captain Marvel. And I've had my account for over a year with a bunch of reviews. I also get an error message when I try to delete the account.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's some BS, though, too. I mean, seriously, just... I guess the best thing you could say to people like that is just stop using Rotten Tomatoes. Not that you don't deserve your right to speak your opinion. Rotten Tomatoes doesn't deserve your clicks, is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, definitely delete your account. If they don't value your opinion, delete it.
I mean, I know Jeremy's trying to he's built a website and he's doing his own thing. And I mean, with the access that we all have to technology and the price that it's at, I mean, there's no reason why fans can't corner the market and create their own thing. Yeah, we can't create $250 million movies, but we can create a lot of other stuff that captures the minds of people. Let's see. Diversity in Comics Bear says, the MCU is dead to me. We're at a point where our entertainment news, shaving razors, everything tells us we're bad because it's how we're born.
It's a bit much. I mean, if anyone's going to jump ship before Endgame, you need a fucking swift kick to the balls, my friend, because that shit's going to have nuts in it.
I don't know, man. It could suck.
Nope.
I don't want it to.
Yeah. Nope. If it was the same director, it could suck, but it's the same motherfuckers that they ain't struck out since. And I mean, especially when, the rumor that came out where they wanted to put Captain Marvel in Infinity War and the Russo brothers specifically said no.
Well, remember, dude, look it. I'm gonna do a Dion and play devil's advocate. Remember, George Lucas directed the first Star Wars. He also directed Attack of the Clones.
Right, but he also directed some other weird ass shit.
Yeah, the Phantom Menace.
Yeah, so I mean that's not exactly we're talking about guys who haven't struck out yet. You're talking about
what else has the Russo brothers done minus the Marvel stuff?
That's the point. They haven't, and the big stuff they've done, huh?
They have done other stuff.
They have, but I'm saying recently, you don't know it. So the stuff that you do know, not one of it's been bad. I mean, the lowest one they've done is Winter Soldier, and that shit was fucking awesome. It's one of the best Marvel movies done.
It is a damn
so for them to take a major left turn now, I mean,
it's not. Remember, dude, just because you direct a movie doesn't mean you have control. George Lucas owned Star Wars. He made the decisions. No one can tell him no. Remember, they have to answer to Kevin Feige, who has to answer to nobody anymore, right? Didn't they give him the complete power?
He's got the majority of it anyway.
But hey, external influences can affect him. I mean,
well, and then even so, to that point about George Lucas had been in the game for 30 years. So when he made the Phantom Menace, he'd already done Star Wars and couldn't say no. And even then, that was him going back to the director's chair after having two other movies where he didn't direct the goddamn movies.
Thankfully.
Right. Well,
I think, go on. Sorry.
No. I was done. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I think external influences were, Harvey Weinstein, Time's Up, Me Too. If that didn't happen, they would have still introduced Captain Marvel. I think they would have waited till after Endgame. I think that movement and Wonder Woman being a success was what got them to shoehorn her in. And
absolutely, yeah.
And hey, it's worked so far. I mean, as much as I don't like the movie, I'm not going to deny the fact that the movie's made a ton of money and the media's out there pretending Wonder Woman didn't exist now. And yeah, it's completely worked.
Remember, it's not if it's good, if it makes money, is what Mark Hamill says. So.
Yep.
Yep.
Because I think it was you too, Gary, that said if that's the case, then Transformers movies are the best movies ever made.
They are. No.
Ugh.
Yeah, well, whatever, dude. Michael Bay's a Nazi. I agree with Megan on that shit, dog.
Oh Jesus, Salvador. Salvador says the Avengers are a group of learned doctors. Bree and her characters are just hillbillies, and she will never get anything from us in her PO box. By the way, Salvador, I just filmed the. Okay, so for those out there that like the PO box videos, there's one going up tomorrow, and then I filmed the other one today. And Salvador, I got all three of your packages. The third giant box that read Fragile is incredible. Hold on, let's see if I can. There you go. So you know what I sent, or you know what you sent me. It's awesome. I got a Frank Reynolds bobblehead that talks. So Dion, it's incredible.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
have to have that on the table at horror.
You know what's funny? I think I say that in the video. Seriously.
Nice.
Anyway, let's start talking about the Avengers trailer because we got plenty of time to talk about the super chat stuff. Folks, let us know your thoughts on the Avengers trailer. We'll definitely get back to you guys. But let's see. Okay, I'll start. Fuck it. So I saw this trailer this morning. Actually, one of our listeners, Etep Wakoyan, had posted a meme of Captain Marvel and Thor, and I thought, wait, that's not in the movie. Oh God, the trailer must be out. So I go and I watch it. And, we won't go back into the Captain Marvel thing. Honestly, without the stinger part, this was my favorite MCU trailer because I was like, I remember this, and I remember the feelings, and this and that, and I like all these characters. And it showed. The nice thing is it killed the whole rumor or theory that Tony's never going to make it back to Earth and all that other shit. And it was a pretty good trailer. It shows that this movie has what I want. And Dion, you've known me since the beginning of the MCU, and you'll remember me saying this to you. I want to see how the Earth reacts to having half of the population snapped out of existence.
Yes.
And that clip with Ant-Man walking around with the overgrown brush. I guess he's in, wherever he lives in San Francisco, right?
Yep.
He's just walking around, in an taken care of area. And, I'm like, cool, we get to see the aftermath. That's what I want to see. So I got that in the trailer. I saw all these things. They're wearing their quantum suits. So all those rumors were true about them going into alternate dimensions, wearing the suits. Captain America has a shield back, all these things. And we get this awesome poster. And I was happy. I was really genuinely happy because on the High Council, I was thinking about Marvel and how I'm done. And then I thought, what can I do to at least try to keep the energy high towards Endgame? So I downloaded this Marvel game for my phone. And then I started watching Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And I saw this trailer and I thought to myself, Captain Marvel is dog shit. Everything around it is dog shit. But you know what? Avengers haven't let me down. And then I saw this trailer and I'm back on board. So I'm back on board. What do you guys say? What say you, Kendo?
I never jumped off board, but I've remained cautiously optimistic. And even after the trailer dropped and I got really, really excited, finger in there, I'm still like, okay, this could still be really awesome. This could still be great. This could top Infinity War. It'll be tough. We'll see and stuff. We've talked about it before at length that we want to see the aftermath. We want to see what happens once everything goes down. And we're going to get that. And I'm still on board and I'm still excited, but I'm remaining cautiously optimistic.
Gary.
I am absolutely still on board. I was never off board. I, of course, don't like that Captain Marvel movie, but the MCU has definitely earned the right to have a mistake as long as they don't go down the agenda road. And let me finish my poor analogy that as any real man and good husband or boyfriend or partner would do, that even if you found out your cat died, you finished the job. Okay, you finished the job,
right,
and
power through.
You power through, and you think about Fluffy later, or Zorro, or Mr. Wiggles, or whatever you named your cat. And I'm watching it right now. I rewatched the trailer without watching the stinger like 7 times. It's got, it hits every point. Cap in the lead, seeing Tony there. I thought I would hate those quantum suits, and I love them. They look great. Seeing Nebula and they didn't show us a lot. That was the best part. It's like, don't show me anymore. That's the last trailer I can watch. I am good and pumped for the movie. And whether this is the last one I see from the MCU, which I am kind of okay with, I'm resigned myself. I probably won't be for the channel, but as far as being totally invested in it anymore, we'll see. And hopefully what Kevin Feige is doing out there is just paying people lip service to keep the Access Media off his back, because a lot of times they use that for power over the creatives, and the actors use diversity and inclusiveness and try to back them into a corner with gotcha questions and stuff instead of just asking about the goddamn movie. And I'm still pumped up for the movie. It still looks fun, and I trust the Russos as well until they prove me wrong. I think they'll either depower Captain Marvel, or they'll send her on an errand that takes the whole movie until the end or something. I just the Hawkeye stuff was the best part, and he's really needed his moment, and I think we might be getting it in this film, which is great.
Dion.
I mean, you pretty much know my answer, man. You've known me for about a third of your life now, so my black ass ain't never been off the train. I've been sitting there in first class from day one, even though Captain Marvel pissed me off, and the media behind it, and the build behind it, and the actress that was playing her pissed me off. The movie was still pretty good, and again, I'm ready to go. I love the trailer. I love where it's going. And most of all, the thing that I love the most about this trailer, it wasn't just about them showing the world after what happened. It showed how, of all these films, Marvel, these characters have been moving forward, moving past tragedy, moving past the things that made them superheroes and made them members of S.H.I.E.L.D., whatever. And then you get to Endgame, and and they, say in the trailer, Cap says in the trailer, we can't move on. This movie is about them not being able to move on. The entire franchise, them moving forward, being better. This is the movie where they don't do that. And I love that last minute switch, even with Captain Marvel being in the end of the goddamn movie. Again, you have someone who wants to be the belt holder in the trailer being made to fucking kneel down and appreciate the OGs in this goddamn franchise. And I cannot wait. Seeing them with the quantum suits on, we're not gonna, when Cap said, hey, we can't let go. We can't do that. We owe it to everybody. That got me fucking pumped. And I can't explain how fucking pumped I got, damn man. And especially when I'm proven right, I just can't wait.
Well, it hasn't happened yet, so we're still waiting.
Yeah,
multiple times. You not admitting it means
there's reservations I've had prior to Captain Marvel. Like, how in the hell are you going to solve this? And Doomcock did a great review, and Doomcock, he's very into his continuity and things making sense, and nobody can blame him for that. That's why he is a great YouTuber. I've read it, and he's read a ton of comics too. I know he has. I've just gotten used to, like, I don't look at comic book films like science fiction films. Things have to make sense scientifically somewhat. They at least have to sound like it. With comic book movies and comic books, Deus Ex Machina happens like all the damn time. So I'm okay with that as long as they explain it well. Who knows? Maybe the Russos do pull an ultimate miracle and make us. It'd be pretty tough to like Captain Marvel afterwards. We'll see. But aside from Captain Marvel, my whole point, sorry, I'll stop babbling, is there's a ton of, they've set up something that's really going to be really hard to pay off here. So if they do it, man, all the props in the world. But I don't know. Well, I don't know. Time travel. Ugh.
Well, I felt that, like, the MCU is nearing an end no matter what. It can't go on forever. And like I said a moment ago, it's really about these characters and the actors who portray them and their personalities. They're not going to recast. They're not going to do any of these things. So a lot of people do get invested with specific, I don't really, off the top of my head, I can't pull the box office numbers, but it's like, well, when Sean Connery left, people didn't go to see Honor Majesty's Secret Service as much. Then he came back, people came back. Then it took years to build up Roger Moore. Then when he left, it didn't really transfer over and all that stuff. So I think if you recast and all this stuff, plus there's just only so much you can do. 21 movies in, awesome. They've been pretty much awesome the whole time. I don't know. maybe I don't know if it's fatigue or what, but I would like a little break, and I would like just a nice, satisfying ending to hit us at the end of Endgame. That's what I think.
Yeah, and kind of back to Gary's point about the payoff. Again, that's a lot more to do with the epicness that have been these movies, and a hell of a lot less to do what's been going on with Captain Marvel. The
That's
payoff.
what he's saying.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's what he's been saying. He's not really worried about Captain Marvel. He's just saying the payoff.
Right, but again, I guess I'm reiterating that then. But despite everything that Captain Marvel's done, I just want to make sure that people admit that again, the worry about Endgame being good isn't due to Captain Marvel. It's because Infinity War was so goddamn good.
Yeah, I disagree.
I think absolutely.
If it was all the same characters, that'd be fine. But another thing too, everyone wants to keep saying that Ant-Man or Captain Marvel was the one that was wedged between the two. Ant-Man and the Wasp came out, and that actually features more into what's going on between the two movies. But people keep forgetting that one.
Well, yeah, that and Ant-Man came out earlier, so there again we were eased into that part of Marvel with the first Ant-Man movie. Ant-Man and the Wasp, yeah, it came out between, but we already knew who the Wasp was because we watched Ant-Man beforehand. So which again is another fault of the whole Captain Marvel game. But I just want to make sure everyone admits, Captain Marvel again has definitely not made this shit easy. But one of the reasons why her being shoehorned in is such a sore thumb is because everything was so well done beforehand, especially Infinity War. So, again, like I said, that's more evidence to the point that I got a lot more faith in the Russo brothers than I do in this bullshit behind Captain Marvel. If anything, it's the payoff to how good the fucking first one was, more so than it is, how's Captain Marvel going to fit in?
I will stick to this though, and listen, I think everybody wants to come out enjoying this movie. I totally agree with you. But I for like God, since I heard her announcement that they were gonna do Captain Marvel, and this was right when SJW Marvel was kind of starting, and I said on my podcast, like, they are going to give her the kill shot on Thanos, and I was joking. And I've said it a lot, but if they do, I am out. That will be the biggest disrespect to all the fans. Now, if she's in the background, like helping Tony, like get his repulsors back together or something like that, or she throws a bolt of energy at him and is helping other Avengers, I wouldn't have a problem with that. Really, that's comic books. But yeah, if she is pivotal in bringing down Thanos, if it's Thanos at all, I mean, that's a good point that we don't see him or any reference, but that's also good that I'm not seeing that in the trailer. But we'll have to see. And we have not that long to speculate. And what I wanted to ask you guys was, were you expecting the trailer this early? Like
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's over a month out. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I expected it as soon as Captain Marvel came out.
Like this, okay.
I expected it sooner, to be honest. Because if we went back, I think it was the Oscars, Kevin Feige said that there's one more Avengers trailer coming out. And we can talk about the movie that we no longer want to talk about anymore, but Disney knows that some of their marketing rubs people the wrong way. They want everyone and their uncle to show up to this movie, so they will do everything they can to wipe the slate clean of any remnants of the last one, just to get you into the next one. So I definitely expected this trailer, and I expected it to be something epic like this. I also expected a Star Wars trailer to come out relatively soon to help kind of get people's minds off of that, but no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah, when are we going to get a Star Wars trailer?
Celebration.
No, that's right. That's not too far away. I should try to make that. That sounds kind of fun.
It's going to be.
I could do it.
Folks, if you want Gary to show up to Star Wars Celebration, press 1 in the chat.
Oh boy!
If you see a tank tread of ones, Gary will show up. Hopefully,
I'll show up then. If the people demand it, we listen to the people here.
We are the People's Republic of pop culture.
Yeah, right. No, I like that. I like that a lot.
I really wish we could get Doomcock to show up.
I do too.
Ooh. Begin the campaign now, everybody.
I've tried. Last year I tried to get him to get involved. He's like, I'd have to wear a lucha mask the whole time.
He's got one. So he could do it.
I'd like that. That would be the ultimate. If we can get you and Doomcock there, I think everyone in the fandom menace will be properly represented.
That would be. I'm
Talk
probably
to
gonna have
him.
to go. I'll talk to him, and I got to talk to the boss too, Mrs. Nerdrotic. So
Okay, well, you
Yeah.
can talk to Jeremy about accommodations and stuff. So
I will. That
it's not too late, man.
No, it's not too late. Now my wheels are spinning on that one.
I hear it. We're all gonna be there. We got this big thing to announce. As soon as I get the okay from the guy that runs the place, we'll start making the announcements. It's gonna be insane.
Yeah.
Let's see, where are we at? Thundercats Ho says Captain Marvel has a fishy opening. Wink, wink. Crossbreed du jour says happy 3.14 day, everybody, aka Pi Day. Did anyone have pie here? I know Ethan had like 12.
Nope.
Man, all the older ladies at work were bringing in pie. Not that type of pie, but they were still bringing in pie.
That's kind of disappointing that it wasn't that type of pie, but whatever.
I know.
Nicholas Glenn says, Gary, I will trade you money for comics. LOL.
Oh man, Nicholas Glenn. Man, we got to do personal business here on Work Club. Did you DM me on Twitter or just send me an email, Gary@nerdrotic.com, and anybody can send me an email to that if you want to.
I'm going to send you an email now, just
go.
for the hell of it. Dear Gary,
Pictures,
this
whatever.
is Jeff. Hi.
I'm just going to send a dick pic.
I expect
Thanks for
nothing
being on
less
the
from my
show,
best friend.
That's right. I got a reputation, Gary. Welcome to the family, bro.
Yeah, we got to get you a WCBS tattoo down there. How's that sound?
Ooh, Delio.
Who's the lady that Ruby Rose? She has all those tattoos, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
There you go. You can join her in the avant-garde of the new aesthetic. Nicholas Glenn says, there you go. Somebody got that fucking joke. Nicholas Glenn also says, Jeff, when are you going on the Exozone? When is the Exozone normally, Gary?
We do it like every other Sunday. We're doing it this Sunday at 8. You are more than welcome.
I will be at Horror Hound with the channel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
And then I think the next time you'll have it, I'll be at WrestleMania. So
we'll be doing a bunch this year.
Nicholas Glenn, I will be there for sure. Gary's a friend. Doomcock's a friend. I listen to conspiracy podcasts and stuff about the paranormal and the supernatural every day when I'm working on Stealing Solo. So that's my wheelhouse. Trust me, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yep.
Admiral Tiberius says, hail, gentlemen of BS and Mr. Nerdrotic, listening to you prophets of pop culture while playing some medieval Total War II. I'm getting excited for Godzilla. I think it's going to be an amazing movie.
I agree.
My son's middle name is Tiberius. That's a great name.
I thought he was going to say his son's middle name was Godzilla.
I was like, that is so
I
Which
got
I would have
shot
been like,
down
I
for
love
that.
you now.
Yeah, I'd be like, wow, this just kicks naming children way up a notch.
Hey, Dion, can you have another kid to name it Godzilla Green?
God damn right I will.
That would be so cool. I've never heard of that game, Medieval Total War 2. Have you guys?
No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Now, Godzilla, like I said, folks, I can make this announcement now. So the Good Morning Pop Culture channel has finally been monetized. Thank you, YouTube. So I'm not going back to it full-time every day. So those out there that are going, the show's coming back on Monday. No. We're going to have an episode, though, on Saturday live from Horror Hound. So there will be a Good Morning Pop Culture this Saturday morning. So be prepared for that. But the point I want to get to is since that channel has become monetized, we'll be able to do some live streams over there. And the closer we get to Godzilla, Dion, I know you can get your commit. Yeah, if I can speak. Sorry, I'm not having a stroke. You'll commit. Gary,
Yes,
you're
sir.
invited. We'll do some Godzilla commentaries just to shoot the shit and talk about Godzilla. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll make a list. We'll let the fans vote. We'll get copies and we'll watch Godzilla movies. And listeners, if you're out there and you want to join us, you know how to get involved with the channel.
Hell yeah.
I opened a bunch of stuff in the P.O. box, and I actually got in front of me, I have Millennium Godzilla and I have Mecha Godzilla from 2004. And these things kick ass. So I think I'll have the entire set after the year's up.
Sweet.
Nice.
I have no clue where I'm going to put them, but I love them. I love them so much. Where are we at? Let's see. Jorge Pulido says, look up Funsaki. It's a giant robot horse driven by a horse.
Oh, fuck you.
Hold on. If this is a thing, that was a super chat.
Please
Deal.
don't
We got to
be-
look it up.
Oh, don't be a thing.
I found it.
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's a giant metal horse.
Yeah. Are you scared to look at it,
No,
Dion?
I'm not scared.
It's a unicorn.
That's not the point, you guys. Why are you? Why?
You know what? I think I should get you one of these.
Or not? I mean, I appreciate the thought.
I mean, you are my best friend, and I love Lisa so much. Here we go, Dion. Look at the screen right now.
That's just man. Why? That's
The
some
best
voodoo.
little-
That's some voodoo shit. No. Ew.
All right, that's enough. You don't have to look at it anymore.
Just fucking.
John Tennett also says, if you want to investigate, take a look at Iger and Willow Bay's friend at USC trustees R. Chan, R. Tudor, D. Tsai, and R. Iran, J. Bus, long rumored, known to be the Bao Fei bulk package tickets to inflate numbers tactics. Well, you know what? I'm taking a screenshot of that because I will look into it.
Yeah.
That's the type of shit that I like to research for the channel. Now, I will say, too, a lot of that Star Wars Russian bot theory stuff that was published in an official paper came from Dr. Morton Bay, who worked directly for Willow Bay at the USC, Annenberg, whatever. It was all connected back to her and Bob Iger. So, convenience, probably, but still, all this bullshit's perpetuated from a small group of people. Just that's not even like a conspiratorial thought. It's just a straight up fact. It all comes from this one place.
Yep, which is heavily connected with Disney, which I'm sure that Annenberg place is probably exclusively funded by Disney. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
And you know that we talk about it on these channels because it directly influences our entertainment.
Yep, absolutely.
You have to figure out why entertainment's the way it is.
And this is the testing ground for information. Okay, so since Disney will be in control of much more information when they take on Fox, now they don't have the news division. I don't want to get in the weeds on that, but it's still information. And well, it's like a child. A child will Dion knows this. A child will test the boundaries of their parents all the time to see what they can get away with. Companies are the same thing, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Well, I think the way they do it is they hide it behind branded things that they buy up that people already like.
Mm-hmm.
They couldn't put out Wreck-It Ralph and it's full of crap. That's why they put it in Wreck-It Ralph 2, because they already made Wreck-It Ralph an established thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
I figure we got some goodwill with the fans. We'll try this. We'll try that. I mean, and a bunch of franchises are doing it now, and that's what we're dealing with. And it's kind of a bummer. It's a major bummer, actually.
And I will walk away from anything that gets too much.
Yep.
Even Star Wars that we say, like it's like in Star Wars, Darth Vader, oh, there's good in him. I sense the conflict, all this shit. You want to believe that there's some good left in Star Wars, but probably at the end of the day, there's not too much. Let's see. Raiders of the Lost Flicks. Folks, by the way, check out Raiders of the Lost Flicks channel. Nerdrotic, world-class bullshitters. The SJWs may ruin all your favorite things, but you are all one of my constant. Thank you, Fandom Menace.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're his constant.
Well,
I am dealing with a cold still, but that's okay, Dion. I'm still going to drink with a cold. Fuck it.
You better.
I haven't had a sip of booze all year. I've been good, so I'm waiting for this weekend.
Proud of you.
Gimpy Troll. Marvel announcement: the Shang-Chi movie will have an all-Asian cast. Are you going to rage against Asian representation now next to Brie one? If the movie's good, no, because unlike Brie Larson and her Captain Marvel kerfuffle, we've all grown up on Asian films directed by obviously Asian people that were excellent. We can go back and look at old Jackie Chan flicks, old Bruce Lee flicks. Basically, that's what Marvel's making, is a kung fu movie from the 1970s. I mean, right. Shang-Chi is whatever. It's better than Iron Fist? I don't know. I've read the comics.
Comics, they're okay. They had great art back in the 70s. God, they were great art.
Yeah, it wasn't, what's his name?
Was it? Oh, I can't remember his name now. Hang on, I'll find out.
Yeah, I'm thinking the guy that used to draw Daredevil, but it's not him.
No.
What's his fucking name? I can't think of it. Point is, you look it up for a second. If the movie's good, that's fine. But I doubt that we're going to see that director come out and start attacking people.
Right. Absolutely not.
Because I think as a fan, as just a person in general, we all just want to have a good time and enjoy movies, and just external forces kind of trying to put people down in the group. If anything, a lot of a lot of YouTube channels and stuff are kind of like just trying to keep everyone unified. It's not really cool to tear apart a fan base based on the color of your skin. I just think that's the point they all fail to see. And that's why a lot of people get angry.
God, see, this is what happens when you get old. I fail. -2 nerd points from Nerdrotic.
Who?
Jim Starlin.
Oh, Jim Starlin.
And Steve Englehart created him. Yeah, that's why the art was spectacular. But I remember flipping through those when I was like 7, so I didn't really read the stories. I'm just like, ooh, cool art.
Let's just hope they do it right. That's all I can keep saying.
Yep.
If done right, we haven't had. Imagine like a fucking Marvel movie, but it's kind of like The Raid Redemption, but it's kind of like Enter the Dragon, but it's kind of like Legend of Drunken Master. That'd be fun.
But it's PG-13.
Yeah. Enter the Dragon was rated R. That movie kicks ass.
Oh, it's fan-fucking-tastic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that Bruce Lee's best flick?
Oh, yeah. Enter the Dragon
probably
is his best one.
Yep.
I think I might like Return of the Dragon more, but Return of the Dragon, the one where he fights Chuck Norris at the end.
In the Coliseum, yeah, that's Return of the Dragon. Yeah, Enter the Dragon, though, with that one's good. You know, going to help your fucking uncle at his restaurant's cool, but the tournament, you got fucking, what's the black dude's name again?
Jim Kelly, right?
Yeah, Kelly's in that one. I mean, come on, that one's just.
Don't you love that? That's essentially Mortal Kombat before there was a Mortal Kombat, and then when they made Mortal Kombat the movie, they just copied Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, you pretty much have all the characters in fucking Enter the Dragon. And then, of course, I mean, you get the iconic slash against his face. I mean, come on, man. Oh, so good. I love that movie.
You want to get drunk and watch it this weekend?
Is a pig's pussy pork, bro?
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Did we just become best friends?
Yeah. Mexi Man and Cheese says Disney will ruin the Orville or cancel Disney equals Borg.
There's a rumor going around that the Orville is already picked up.
Oh, I hope. I know this sounds dumb, but I actually watched that show without the sound on, not because I'm angry with it, but usually when we're streaming, is it on Thursdays or Tuesdays?
Thursdays.
Okay, usually when we have the podcast on, I'm watching the Orville. So I really don't get everything, but I got subtitles on. But I do watch it, technically. I like what I see.
It's very good. It's very, very, I love it. You're also missing Star Trek Discovery tonight, which you didn't want to pay for and you wouldn't want to watch anyway. So,
am I missing it, actually?
No, not actually. Not at all.
Crossbreed Azure says, what are y'all thoughts on the Batman versus TMNT trailer? If y'all watched, it looks fun to me. The best part was Batman versus Shredder.
I dug it. I saw it today with Nerdrotic Jr. and he loved it. I thought it was pretty cool.
Dion?
I have not seen it. I remember hearing about it a few months back, especially mainly because of, every comic book's natural draw to the idea of Batman for Shredder. I will watch that ASAP, probably right after we go off the air here, because that sounds fucking awesome. But
it's fun.
I can't wait. That's going to be fun as shit, dude.
He's got his yellow bat symbol.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yes.
No, I haven't seen it.
I saw the trailer. I liked the trailer. I was on board. I actually read the comic from a couple of years ago. I think I don't remember the guy who drew it, but it was done in it was a little different looking than your average DC book, but it was fun. So I'm there. Like you said, Gary, Batman's got the bat symbol with the yellow crest around it. I like that. I will say that the voice actor was trying to be Kevin Conroy.
Yeah.
And it was a little distracting. He was trying so hard, but it's better than some of the other Batman voices we've gotten over the last couple of years.
Yep.
Now, do you watch all the animated ones?
I do eventually. I haven't caught up in a while. God, what is the last one I watched? Oh, might have been like The Dark Knight Returns. I have them all. I always buy them and then they sit on my shelf for a couple of years before I buy them. But I like them. I like most of them. Oh, Gotham by Gaslamp. That was okay.
I got that on DVD as a gift from somebody, but dude, that Dark Knight Returns animated feature, I really liked that one.
I love the first half. Oh my god, the first half was brilliant. The second half was good. It was and
Wait, it was good. What do you mean just good?
I don't know that I didn't like the second half as much as I liked the first half, and it felt I don't know why. I can't put my
You
finger
feel
on
the
it.
same way about the comic, or no?
No, God, no. The comic's perfect. I bought that comic
hurts
off
me,
the
Gary.
shelf.
What the
Oh, I'm
fuck, dude?
sorry. There's, you know what? Maybe I need to go back and watch it again. It's been a while
Do
since
we
I
need to
watched
watch it for the channel, Gary? Spoiler alert,
Maybe.
you're gonna say yes. Haha, you're
Yes,
coming back. Love you.
Kisses.
It's gonna happen. Now,
All right, I'll do it. Yeah,
challenge accepted.
I'll
Just
do
say it. Yeah.
I'll do it. Maybe I was in a bad mood that day.
Maybe I made my cousin, Uncle Pepe's daughter, Jeff, but I made my cousin watch both of them. Well, not both of them. I made her watch The Dark Knight Returns, and we watched a bunch of other animated shit. I made her watch some of Batman. Oh, I fucking love The Dark Knight Returns.
I like how you make it sound like you're forcing somebody to do something they don't want to do, but in reality, it's just watching Batman.
Right.
That's why we're friends.
It's like when they came up for Christmas or New Year's, and it's like, oh yeah, open gifts. What does she get? Graphic novels and Blu-rays of Superman. I'm like, oh, cool. This is a good family.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, Dion's got a cool family. Let's see where we at. Mighty Nick 100 says, I hope the SJWs leave Godzilla alone.
Well,
I think you will because of international appeal.
Mm-hmm.
What can you do to Godzilla though?
They got a gender swap Godzilla, obviously.
But even
Godzilla's
you can't be like, what's going to be the female Godzilla? Mom Godzilla? Like you can't you can't apply that shit. They lose before they even try that shit.
Yeah, I think I honestly think it's because you want that movie to play in different parts of the world. And Godzilla is Godzilla. I don't think it's a brand as much as it is a character. So yeah.
They'll just swap out Godzilla for Leslie Jones.
Yeah.
Jesus. Listen, we all saw the video in question here. You know,
nope.
She can.
No.
Nope. Didn't watch it, dude.
Nope.
All right,
Didn't see it.
All right, Leslie, you get a nod for that. If only your opinions match your ability to take a dick.
What the fuck?
Jesus.
Oh God, where are we at?
What is happening?
I don't know. I know we're all excited to see each other tomorrow, and some of us are operating on little to no sleep, so that's fine. But yeah, Dion, who are you?
Hey, I am me.
We have a guest here. Gary will never come back because
gun.
we came off his asshole.
Shit.
Yeah. You were taking the wind out of his sails.
No, he agreed to watch The Dark Knight Returns, so that's a contract. It's a verbal contract. He has to come back. Haha, Gary.
That's right. I'm only as good as my word. Although I still have to send Jeff a package that I finally sent off today. That was like 3 weeks late. It's the one from Colombia, Jeff. Don't worry about it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Probably shouldn't have said anything on the air.
I love Miami Vice.
Her name is Argentina.
Better than Talkie Tina. The fan cast sent us $5. Thanks, Brian Lape.
Oh, Brian.
Burger Titty. That's a name.
My kind of guy.
Yeah. Burger Titty says, I made a compilation meme video of reviewers talking bad about Captain Marvel. I'd like you guys to see it. It's only at like 1.2 thousand views right now. Well, let me take a screenshot of that so I can watch it.
Is the name of your channel Burger Titty?
Burger and then space TIDDY.
I want to name my son Burger Titty now. I'm going to change his name to Burger Titty.
Burger Titty Godzilla.
I love that
Nerdrotic.
so much. Yes.
That's the greatest. That might be. You know what? Let's have a new award this year, Dion. Best screen name of the year.
Yes. 2019. Get your screen names in, ladies and gents, because right now Burger Titty is winning by a landslide.
This is our Brandon Moist moment of the year. Burger Titty.
Yes.
Oh my god, this is way funnier than it should be.
Yeah.
Chapter Master Dante says, my collector's edition of They Live came in the mail today.
Nice.
Blessed in the mind small enough to only listen and believe. Or blessed is the mind only small enough. Blessed is the mind small enough to only listen and believe. SJWs. I've never heard that quote, but I'll tell you how great They Live is.
Yes, it's a fantastic movie.
Politics done right.
Just put on the fucking glasses.
Gary, your thoughts on They Live?
One of the greatest movies ever made. Saw it in a theater multiple times because I'm old, and he's my favorite wrestler, Roddy Piper. Now I kind of dipped out on wrestling a long time ago, but I used to be a huge fan, and
You're
Piper
not missing
Pit
much.
was my favorite thing. Yeah, I'm an old WWF guy, so WrestleMania 1 on watching it at pay-per-view. God, those were the days, the 80s. That was really fun.
Wasn't born yet, but I do go back and watch a lot of the golden era of wrestling.
I had a big bag of the Sticky Icky, and I was watching WrestleMania 1. Oh, those are the days.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
WrestleMania 1 was 1985.
Yeah, I was 15.
What? Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
I was 2.
I wasn't born. The fan cast says, don't forget to stop by the WCBS booth and tell Lape how anus he is. Yeah, he's that anus.
Wow, self-promoting.
Thanks for another $5, Lape. I'll buy you a beer this weekend.
Well, use the
Shameless
remaining
self-promoter.
use the remaining $5 you got to write a better line, dude. What the fuck?
Here's just another good name. Gotcha, son. Says, can't wait to see Rogue take her powers in the MCU.
I do love that was one meme that came out after Captain Marvel was everyone's like, God, I hope Rogue turns up in the end of this fucking movie. That shit made me laugh. I was just like, thank you, internet. You never fail to disappoint.
Have you seen the one where it's Captain Marvel on that train where she's about to punch the old lady and it's actually just Rogue looking up at her?
Yep.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah, Rogue's popularity shot up quite a bit.
Dude, I'm looking for a Marvel Legends Rogue figure. That thing is now $80 loose.
What?
Yeah, people are going like they're hoarding it because Hasbro's making the entire Jim Lee wave, like all the costumes and stuff. And Rogue came out a couple years ago and people didn't care. So the same thing with Cyclops. Luckily, I picked up a Cyclops because I buy anything with Jim Lee's costume for Cyclops. But now they got Jubilee and everybody, and Rogue is super rare.
That's weird. That's kind of like what happened with Toad on the first series of Marvel Legends. It was everywhere. Nobody wanted it. And then it went away and it became like the hardest one to find.
That's why I've hoarded every roast Tico, because one day I'm going to be able to buy a cheeseburger with that.
I was gonna say that's an investment that won't pay off.
Well, I only have bought 4 of them. Every other one was a gift.
Roast Tico with burger titty action.
Logan Michael says, I know someone named James Bond Michael Smith.
Ooh,
pretty cool name,
wow.
actually. Yeah.
My boss at Tesla's name was Aston Martin.
Nice.
Swear to God. Total douchebag. Sorry. That's the reason I left the company. So
did you hear Aston Martin has an electric car that's going to be featured in the next Bond movie?
Yes.
Oh, you might have to quit now and go work for him. Him and his ponytail.
I want to hear more about this guy out there. I definitely want to hear more. I don't want to put you in a spot to make you uncomfortable publicly, but I got to hear more.
Oh yeah. That's right. Yeah, I used to work for Tesla up until I started YouTubing full time, and if it wasn't for him I should thank him. If it wasn't for him pissing me off, I probably wouldn't have been doing my channel full time. So there you go. Thanks, Aston.
We love you, Aston Martin.
We love you.
Diversity in Comics Bear again. Thank you very much. The forced I like this one stinger is proof it's all an agenda. Going forward, Feige has convincingly stated he's all in on the Captain Marvel stuff. Expect SJW Comics to sweep the MCU. I'm calling it.
It wouldn't be a surprise. I think Marvel Comics was the testing ground for it. I think that was an edict from on high, although Marvel runs pretty autonomously. I think while Kevin Feige doesn't run Marvel Comics, if he said, I want something done in Marvel Comics, it would be done. So I think he runs it by running Marvel. He got to remember, and you guys know this, Kevin Feige won a power struggle against a board member of Disney where he was just simply a producer, basically. And he took on Perlmutter and won. Because he had all the actors backing him, and all the actors were about to walk. This was right around phase 2, I think I remember. So that's why he has so much power right now. But he still has to answer to people. But that's why I believe that he is kind of behind some of this stuff. He's for it. So we'll see.
If that was a testing ground, then it wouldn't work because the fucking shit in the comics isn't selling.
They seem to be ignoring that, but they wrote Captain Marvel the way they did, which was pretty much how they wrote all of the Kelly Sue DeConnick comic was written in that tone for sure. So, and it never sold, but they did it anyway. So,
which I get. I get that, but again, if you're going to say testing ground and him being behind it, that shit just doesn't ring. I just don't think that rings true. And even
the all new, all different Marvel characters were definitely a testing ground for Disney to introduce their own Marvel characters, and there's a lot of reasons behind this. There's rights issues. They don't have to worry about getting sued by somebody saying I created that person, and not that they would get a piece of the character, but get credit. Right. Because there are instances where some deals with Marvel were existing prior to Disney buying it, and they have to be beholden to that. Right. So if they bring in their all new characters, and DC has been doing this for years. That's why they changed from DC Comics to DC Entertainment. They screwed a lot of creators by doing that, a lot. So as far as testing ground, I think the all new, all different Marvel was to see what they could hey, we started some new characters, and listen, on surface level, it sounds fine. Let's introduce some new characters. Sounds great. And it failed miserably, but they still came out with Captain Marvel. So that's why those of us who have been paying attention and reading the comics, and you read the comics too, are worried about it. Is it absolutely going to happen? I certainly hope not. It would be a bad move. I totally agree with you there. They would stop making money immediately, and it would kill the MCU. I hope they don't do that, but it looks like they're bringing in Kate Bishop.
Oh, the girl with a Hawkeye.
Yeah. And Miss Kamala Khan is going to be in the sequel to Captain Marvel. Kevin Feige said that.
Well, Kevin, I'll tell you this: I won't go see the sequel to Captain Marvel. I don't care if I'm in it. I'm not going to go see the damn movie. I hated the first one, so no more money to her. Thunder Robot says, "What if Captain Marvel plot holes are answered via time travel?"
Ooh, it had to be in a sequel, which would be a waste of time. Which
I think
that's their plan.
I think he means in Endgame.
As in time travel in Endgame?
Yeah, like what
shit in Captain Marvel?
Okay, let's play what ifs. That could be fun. What if the shittiness of Captain Marvel's intentional because there's a time rift and it's somebody that's fucking with the timeline?
You know how I feel about that whole fucking setting up a movie to finish it in the goddamn sequels. If that were the case, I hope that I would be proven wrong. But again, they're playing checkers. They ain't fucking playing chess. They're not gonna set this shit up, purposely make a movie divisive, and then be, oh, don't worry, we're gonna settle it in Endgame. And even so, how do you solve that in the next movie? They already got to deal with undoing what Thanos did. To go back and to change shit or to undo shit via time travel is really fucking pushing. Not to mention, what are they going to travel time with? It's not like they have the fucking time stone. So if you're introducing another character that isn't wiped out in order to facilitate them going back in time, again, you're stretching shit and you're fucking the story up. And I that would be the thing that made me be like, oh fuck, Endgame's fucked, we're done. Oh fuck. But yeah, I don't see that being. That's not the play. That can't be the play.
I hope not. Well, okay, let me just throw this out there, and this probably won't happen. God, I hope it's not. But maybe the reason Carol got stuck is she got stuck in a time rift because Samuel L. Jackson did mention in an interview about her being able to travel time. And maybe that's why it took her so long to get back, is like it didn't really take her that long, but she got stuck in some time anomaly. I can't even say it. Some quantum tachyon thing, to use Star Trek speech. But
dude, I think Watchmen when you say that.
Yeah. Oh, Watchmen.
Yeah, we forgot to do our commentary.
We didn't forget. Someone got a cold.
Yeah, I know. Thanks, Mom, for working in the public. Bring that shit home. Now, Gary, when we do it, if you want to join us,
I would for Watchmen.
Yeah,
hell yeah.
I saw that
God,
opening night with our. We should try to get Dustin back on, Dion, for that one.
I'd be down for that. I'd be down for that. Absolutely. That'd be fun. Especially he would see Manhattan's dick and then get all excited.
It's blue. Oh, Daddy, it's blue. That would be what he says.
It's so big. Yes, Praxis, it is.
Oh, that's a personal joke. Sorry, Gary, to steal your thunder. Though, what were you saying?
Oh no, it's all right. Hey, I remember I listened too. So
Sure, you do. You do.
Yeah. So he
I don't
gets
know the ins and outs, but I can guess. So
Oh, okay.
I guess that's a bad analogy for big blue dicks, but
Well, it works.
yeah.
Let's see. Fook Goo Goal 2 says Lear Foundation gives SJW advice to prod in Hollywood. Is it to produce in Hollywood? It just says to prod period in Hollywood.
That's probably produce.
I've never heard of the Lear Foundation. Like Norman Lear? I guess that, Norman Lear was doing this shit back in the 70s with his TV shows. But then again, all those shows were, interesting. Nowadays, TV shows are kind of retarded, but whatever.
Andy invented the Lear jet.
Oh, well, it's important.
The Lear Family Foundation. Yep.
That's him?
Yep. Norman and Lynn Lear founded the Lear Family Foundation to support wide-ranging one side of the political aisle, we'll just say.
Now, he did what? Like All in the Family and all that stuff, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. All those classic shows were classic. They couldn't be made today.
No. Oh, God, no.
Everyone would be so offended.
Mm-hmm.
Admiral Tiberius says, I want Endgame to start with Thanos tending to a garden at peace, so it makes us sympathize with him more. I want his possible death to be given pause, or to give us pause. Well, you remember, Gary, in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book, at the end, after they beat him, Adam Warlock and, was it Silver Surfer, go to find him?
Yep.
And he's, like, defeated emotionally in that garden, so...
Yep. So they could possibly use some of that. I think they're going to stick with the major plot points of Infinity Gauntlet. It kind of looks like they might, which might involve Nebula a little bit, and that would be interesting.
Oh, if they make her normal again? Because remember how in the comic she was like a corpse, and then she gets the gauntlet, right, and becomes beautiful and all this shit?
Yeah, she gets her.
Yep.
She gets, yep.
Oh my god! Now that would be crazy.
And then they have to all attack her, and that would be cool to see. That would be very cool.
The possibilities are endless.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What do we got? 40 days left, right?
Something like that.
Well, we'll find out. That'll be our next. Well, no, our next live review will be Shazam, the original.
Shazam!
Hey, did you? Oh, did you know that there's a March 23rd showing of Shazam that you can get on Fandango? I think you can probably still get. I got my tickets yesterday. They're showing it special showing 2 weeks early, and so you go on Fandango, check on the 23rd. You live in a big enough city, so I think it'd be available for you.
Let me look it up right now, because if it's the case, I'll do that. And not March 23rd, Captain Marvel. Crap.
Ew.
Yeah, I want Shazam.
The real Captain Marvel.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Was it
Not
Fawcett
Marvel.
Comics, right?
Yep.
Let's see.
DC hoodwinked them. Well, they sued them and got the rights, and
Mm-hmm.
I
Classic
could actually
old school
do that.
DC.
I'd go to Indianapolis or Indiana to see that.
it's not close to you. Oh, that's
Well, to be fair, Greenville, Indiana is not that far, or Greendale,
Okay.
Indiana. So,
are there still tickets available?
yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah, got mine last night. I was stoked. Yeah, I can't wait to see that. That looks pretty good.
I'm looking forward to it too. I found it funny how out of place Zachary Levi fit into the whole Captain Marvel situation publicly. It's just like, people acting under false pretenses. I'm like, shut the fuck up, Chuck. Like, don't get involved.
No. And it turns out he was talking about something. EVS did a video on it, completely different. And what the Access Media did was weaponized his statement against trolls for Rotten Tomatoes, and he wasn't even talking about them. He was talking about some tweets that were put up to troll Captain Marvel. I won't repeat them there. They're hilariously dark and bad. But I don't want to get this thing demonetized if I even talked about them. Yeah, I refer you to EVS's video on the subject, and he reads the tweets, and they're hilarious. I mean, they're bad, dark, but they're hilarious. And that's what he was talking about. So he wasn't talking about Rotten Tomatoes at all. But I remember Sci-Fi wrote an article, and a couple other people wrote an article like he was talking about that, and he wasn't, in his defense.
You know what's weird is you brought up Sci-Fi. We all have way more subscribers than them, but they get like big names. Like, why can't we get Todd McFarlane, Gary?
They have a TV network that's dying.
Yeah, I mean, come on, Todd. Winners. We're the future, bro.
Yeah, Todd E.M. would talk. He would talk to anybody. He's kind of a rebel. He wouldn't fall in line with everybody. So
I feel like if I could get a way to contact him and get on the show, I would
love to
make it happen. I'll call you if it ever happens.
Yeah, I've always loved that guy. I mean, I always, even when people hate, and he was dumb and bought a couple baseballs, I didn't care. He created some great action figures. I love Spawn. Loved his work on Spider-Man.
I've grown to love it. When I was a little kid and he was still working, I was what, 4 when Spawn came out. That wasn't really the type of stuff I was into. But when I got probably about 15 or 16, I started to like his Spider-Man work a lot more. And now
I could understand. I used to hate Kirby when I was a kid. Every kid did. Everybody's like, Kirby sucks. He draws like a block. Everybody's a blockhead. And they're, of course we grew up because we were dumb kids, but don't hate us, Kirby fans. But I didn't like Steve Ditko either when I was a kid.
I respect Steve Ditko's work, but he's never going to be in my favorite, a conversation for my favorite, like even Spider-Man artists. I can name a handful of other guys that I think, obviously Ditko did the suit and you can't take away his importance. But when I voice my opinion of their work, it doesn't take away their importance, just how I feel. Like I like John Romita Sr. To me, that's,
yep. Same here. Steve Ditko's best work is Doctor Strange by far. So
when that movie was coming out, I went through and read a lot of that stuff. It was good. I liked it, but, not enough to where I could be well versed, we'll put it like that. He
was a strange guy, strange person.
I was sad when he passed away, but to find out his life was he had that weird what was he? He was an objectivist, right? Ayn Rand was who he really followed, and I thought he was going to die poor and all this stuff, but it turns out he had $1.5 million. He had that place in New York City. He was okay. He wasn't living in like abject poverty like it was rumored online.
No, he was doing but he was definitely there's that story going around that he was like painting his house, and he had his original art laying down on a table to protect the table from the paint.
I had heard a similar story to that. I heard that he had he was using Spider-Man art as a cutting board.
Cutting board, that's it. The cutting board. He was using it as a cutting board. I got some of his original art for $40. He did Micronauts. And this was in it was 2003. And another comic shop owner ran over and goes, Gary, there's Steve Ditko art for $40. And I ran over there and I bought 2 pages of Micronauts, a comic I never read, but I got Steve Ditko art for $40 each, $40 a page.
For years I thought maybe I should write him a letter, and then I never did, so I obviously missed out on that. But he would have answered you. Yeah, he was an interesting cat, but like I said, I respect those all the old school guys. So for the people out there that listen to this show and think, they hate classic artists, no, just an opinion. Your favorite doesn't mean that they don't have a lot of merit.
No, it's usually with comic book fans, it's the era you like when you were between 12 and 16, 17. That's your sweet spot. That's what I've noticed in selling comics at the comic shop. That's the fondest era for any comic fan, because that's when you first really started understanding comics and really getting into them. And that's when nostalgia kicks in. Like my favorite era is like the late 70s, early 80s. I think that's perfect. And God, to grow up and like buy Frank Miller's Daredevil off the shelf, and I got the Teen Titans, X-Men crossover off the shelf, and like I said, Avengers Annual 10, just like classic comics. And you just look at them now, and it's so sad. It is night and day.
Dude, when I was that age, it was 1998. So what was even going on in 98?
Clone Saga, right?
No, that is. I think that had.
Did it end?
I think
Yeah.
Clone Saga was 97 when it ended, wasn't it?
Yeah. Okay. So 98. God, the early 90s were great. 98.
I wanted to say that Onslaught Reborn shit, but that's a little earlier. And then Heroes Reborn was 96, right?
Yep. I think that's when didn't God, John Byrne did that where they relaunched Spider-Man and brought back Mary Jane.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Year one. Now my sweet spot is like 60. I like stuff from every decade. I really don't have a favorite, but I guess I take it back. The 80s, the stuff that was out right before I was born and right around the time I was born. I mean, Kraven's Last Hunt's my favorite Spider-Man story. I could read that every day and not get tired. That is a fantastic story.
Yep.
Absolutely love it.
And one that can never be adapted into a film because it requires tons of buildup. Maybe you could work in a TV series if they did like 3 seasons of Spider-Man and then did Kraven's Last Hunt. It's why comics are cool. They're best told serialized, in my opinion. That's why it's really tough to do. That's why to circle it back to Endgame, we'll never get this again. I don't care what the DCEU does. Kevin Feige, however mad we get at him, it's historic what he did. For 10 years, he built up to this story, and this is actually like reading a comic book. So we're leading up to the big battle, and the big battles didn't always end well in comics.
Right.
And never, yeah. So I'm still excited.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I also think that the MCU is what it is too, because it's like you said, it's a first. With Star Wars, we've kind of been through this. You know, this isn't 1977. This isn't new. We've had superhero movies. I mean, hell, I wasn't born when Superman came out. We've had that. All those movies were out before I was born, all the Reeve ones. But we had never had the shared interconnected universe the way we had it now or have it now. And it's exciting. It's still, I mean, I want to be more excited. I'm not going to let, whatever. We'll see. 40 days. Where are we at? Lee Cole the Fourth, thank you very much. I just did a fair review like you guys, and SJWs attacked my channel. Actually, my Facebook page called me sexist. I'm a single father, LOL. These people, man, they're always going after, everybody because you didn't like a Captain Marvel movie. So I've noticed that here on YouTube. We've all noticed that on YouTube. So
it's been ticked up quite a bit. Yeah, it's been salty to say the least.
Oh, well, we'll find out what goes on next weekend or this weekend with the box office and stuff like that. I'll be too busy to sit and follow the box office because, we have channel obligations, but
yeah, you'll be at a con too. That's going to be great.
I know, dude. The best part about these cons, when you owned a store, did you ever go exhibit at cons to sell books and stuff?
Oh yeah.
So you remember how you put in so much money and then I got to pay back this much just to break even and all that shit. Mm-hmm. With these shows, I'm just there to promote the show, man. I don't give a shit. We don't sell anything.
That's brilliant.
It's the best. It's the most freeing experience ever.
I had to try that sometime. Yeah, I have lots of work. That's what Comic Cons were. They were an insane amount of work.
Yeah, I just remember I would draw for months and months to do prints and all these things, and can I please make money? And the best I ever did was like $1,500 in a weekend. I was on cloud 9. I thought, holy shit, the world is mine. And then the next show I made nothing. So it's just the market. It depends on what goes on. So I'm glad I don't have to worry about that anymore. Let's see. Diversity in Comics Bear says the Russos got what they wanted. In Infinity War, Feige gets what he wants in Endgame. It's going forward. Nothing is safe. Not even Russo flicks. We'll find out in 40 days, man. Like I said, I'll call.
It's fun being pessimistic, but don't Johnny y'all motherfuckers come crawling back saying how right I was when you see the movie.
I don't think anyone will ever come crawling back to this channel saying, "Oh, Dion, you were so right."
Oh, They totally will. I'm banking on it. I'm banking on it since I was on the High Council, baby. I can't wait.
That's a long. You're playing the super long game.
Oh, hey, well, apparently so is Feige, the other people. So
yeah, but he's playing in the MCU. You're playing on YouTube.
Hey, a win's a win. Goddamn, I don't care where it's at.
Sure. CR Con 4457 says, "Does Carol is Sue?" That's what it says. Does Carol is Sue?
So I'm guessing he's asking if Carol Danvers is a Mary Sue.
Oh, I don't know. She does get beat up,
She does, and not everybody likes her.
and she doesn't really. I mean, she's just overpowered as shit.
Yeah, she's overpowered, but I wouldn't say. I would say Ray ranks way higher on the Mary Sue index than Carol Danvers at this
I would
stage.
agree with that.
Mm-hmm. We need a Mary Sue Index shirt. And just to say that, Mary Sue Index. Oh, also, by the way, I wanted to tell you guys this, just us on the show. A couple people in my personal life, well, Gary, you heard me tell this story on the podcast, or the High Council, you know, they took their kids to go see it, and they all described the movie as boring.
Yeah.
Like, just like little kids and people who I call normies. It was interesting. That's where that's what I'm thinking about the next era for Captain Marvel. If these people are like, I didn't like the first one, I'm not going back. Not everyone buys into the brand of Marvel. I think there is a small portion of people who just judge these movies on them being movies. So that red logo doesn't mean much to everybody.
And there's the law, like I said, the law of diminishing returns. I mean, that's something they were going to have to fight anyway, despite this. That's why I just find it weird that they decided to make this decision this late in the game when they didn't need to, and they could have, I don't know. I mean, we could chalk it up to just, it's really horrible writing. And maybe that was it. And it's a one-off, hopefully. But DC's coming on now. It looks like they're getting better. They still have a long way to go. I mean, they put out a movie that wasn't god awful, and we'll see. And Shazam looks fun, and maybe they can, maybe it'll be like it was in the it's kind of weird how it's reflecting what happened in the comics. We've got the DC Marvel rivalry. Maybe we'll see that they're starting to take talent. They took James Gunn. And you know this, Jeff and Dion, like DC would always steal an artist or a writer from Marvel, and then they go off and do better things at DC. And so it's we'll see, and maybe they'll keep it going, and and then it goes back and forth. I don't think there'll be superhero burnout. I think that would have happened already. I mean, it's been going for a long time. I think the MCU energized things, and I think it's part of the fabric of our pop culture now. So we'll see.
I want your opinion on something, Gary. So when you talked about artists or creators switching from Marvel to DC, obviously Frank Miller pops up. You think John Byrne was better at DC than Marvel?
No, I think he was better at, he did good things at DC, but, and this is just personal taste, but I love his Fantastic Four run. I think it's one of my favorite all time runs, and his X-Men stuff. And then his Marvel team up from the 70s was just brilliant. He did okay. But a lot of people, it's weird. Some people just do better at DC. They seem like DC people. Like when Jeff Johns wrote for Marvel for like a minute, it was terrible. It wasn't good at all, but he goes,
I don't even remember that.
He did some Avengers books.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He did the one where Vision blew up. It was right before Avengers Disassembled. It was leading up to that.
Oh,
okay. Or maybe it was Avengers Disassembled. No. God damn, it was right when I first bought the store. Not Bendis. No, Bendis. No, God. Oh, Bendis's work at DC has been awful. So
I bought that Superman. I bought 1,000, and then I bought number 1, and I was just like, no more.
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think of Byrne? I love John Byrne.
He's in I have my 3 favorite artists are John Byrne, John Buscema, and John Romita. So there we go. I love John Byrne. Yeah, obviously I can't meet John Buscema, but I would like to meet John Byrne just for the hell of it.
Oh, so maybe I told you I traded him a Sideshow 1 scale Ben Grimm thing head that they made for a piece of original art, which is Batman and Catwoman, Spider-Man and Black Cat on a double date on top of a building. And I thought he would just give me some like weak little sketch. He drew a full cityscape, buildings like it was a comic page. Gave me a big old splash page for it, and it was, oh, dude, it was so beautiful.
Lucky. I never got the coolest thing I ever got was just to hang out with Neil Adams when I worked for him. That's
brilliant.
It was cool. It was cool.
Did he tell you about the shrinking Earth? Was it shrinking Earth or enlarging Earth theory?
No, he didn't really talk much.
Okay.
He was busy trying to sell shit. And then Darwin Cook was like 2 tables over.
Oh.
So he kept coming over, and then Alex Saviuk from the Web of Spider-Man. Now, he was super nice to me, and now we're Facebook friends. But other than that, the other comic book artists just kept coming to Neil. They're like, Neil, it's so great to meet you. Or, Neil, I haven't seen you in years. I'm just like, all right, I get it. Neil Adams is awesome. I'm like that too.
His Denny O'Neil Batman run is like my favorite Batman run. So
yeah, when I close my eyes, if I'm not thinking of the cartoon, I'm thinking of Neil Adams Batman.
Nice. So yeah, he has a weird the Earth is shrinking theory. I don't know much about it, but he tried to talk to me about it at a Comic-Con one time, and I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I don't want to hear this from Neil. I want to remember you as cool. So I kind of tuned it out, but look it up. It's out there.
I'll check it out. I listened to his Kevin Smith podcast appearance. That was damn good. Fat Man on Batman.
Yes.
That used to be great. That used to be dude. 2013. Kevin Smith had a run of episodes that were like legendary. He had Jim Lee, he had Neil Adams, he did commentaries for the Batman films. Dude, I could not get enough of that podcast. It was ridiculous. And the artists and he even had Stan Lee on there just because the hell it's Stan Lee. But he had these people and they would go like deep cuts. So Jim Lee would talk about how I think he was almost going to medical school, but his parents wanted him to go, but he wanted to be this artist. So he would like study, like people would train for the Olympics and stuff. It's just interesting. It gives insight to these people on a whole nother level. So if you're out there, folks, check it out.
I remember hearing one or two here and there and enjoying them in the comic shop. That was my last year, 2013.
That was an interesting year for me. I'll tell you more later. Let's see. The Grand Inquisitor, thank you very much and welcome back. Now I want Mom Godzilla to show up in the middle of Godzilla 2 and put him in timeout. Nerdrotic. Nerdrotic is greater than the Nerdist.
Well, I thank you. I take that as high praise.
I agree with that. Also, he says, party boob! There we go. I love party boob. Reality's Frank gave $1. Thanks, Reality's Frank. Frank, be prepared. The next 2 P.O. Box videos are mostly you. Bruce Lombardo says, you don't have to contribute to Captain Marvel's success. Disney will buy tickets for you. Have auditoriums across the country that are half empty. They obviously don't give a shit about the fans. Remember, too, Bruce, when they buy tickets, they basically only lose a small percentage because it eventually goes back to them. It's just whatever the studio gets, and the rest is theirs.
If they were, I'm trying to think of some way, if they were actually doing that, which I really find, God, that would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. Maybe if it's another company, they could write it off. I don't know. That one's there's a lot of weirdness with that, ladies and gentlemen. But that one I have a tough time buying. I have a hard time thinking why wouldn't you do it for John Carter or Tron Legacy or a lot of other movies. Oh God, was Wrinkle in Time Disney?
Yep.
Yeah. Why not do it for that? That needed it bad. And yeah, maybe Fandango, maybe. I don't know, Bruce.
We'll find out. It's an interesting story. That's why I haven't made a video on it yet, because I need more to come out. Because I don't want to make like 27 videos covering my ass. Like, well, I said it in this one, now I got to say this. I'd rather wait and get, a couple 100,000 views on one video that's long form as opposed to just trying to constantly cover my ass with this.
Yeah, that's smart.
Because especially right now with the culture war, like I know everyone out there that's watching this really digs the show, but the bigger we get, and Gary, I know you get this too, and I don't really consider you like controversial. I just think you're a straightforward dude and you put out good product. But people are always, if you don't think the way they think or you have the same opinion, they come after you in droves. So you got to be on your best behavior and cover your ass with facts. And that's why I'm just saying, for the reason I do my videos the way I do, I guarantee it. If I put out a video every single day, you guys would watch them all. But I need the time to get them right. And plus, sometimes I just need to find the right thing to make. But, to me, I'm proud of all the videos I put out. I don't want to put out anything that I go, shit, I shouldn't have made that. Like, that'll be like the sign I think I fucked up.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think about each one I put out, even the ones that are kind of messy. But
That's why I write every single one. I'm just like, do I like this? Yes. There's a lot of videos I've made that have never seen the light of day. So I have an oddly high standard for this channel.
I have those too. Unreleased. You show them to the patrons someday.
I should go back and record the audio for some of them because a lot of them are in script form and just be like, here you go, patrons. This is for you guys.
Yeah. Do like an unreleased one at the end of the year or something like that.
We actually have a podcast we recorded for episode 200, and it was just dog shit, so we never released it.
I heard about that. Now I want to hear it.
Come to Celebration. I'll bring you an MP3 file.
Nice.
Anthony Mata says, Zup from the 415. In Endgame, do you think Ms. Marvel, who was OP, gets beaten down by Thanos and realizes she needs the Avengers to help kill him? Maybe?
It's good storytelling. It's very good storytelling. And again, if people want to pretend like she's more powerful than the fucking Infinity Gauntlet, which can control reality, it's like that would be a perfect way to sanitize a lot of that extra bullshit people have for Captain Marvel right now.
Well, remember, it's
I agree with that.
Yeah, it's the media though that also pushes that too by telling us she's so powerful. It's like, oh,
right. Kevin Feige's lip service doesn't help, but again, it's like, being able to shoot, protons from your hands because you're a battery is no match for fucking him just changing reality and going back in time and slapping you upside the fucking head.
That is my favorite way to trivialize that hero. She's a battery.
Exactly. Literally, that's all I could say after watching it.
Battery girl.
Duracell woman.
Duracell woman.
We should do that for our next comic, guys.
Ooh, deal.
Gary, get involved with us. We'll just come up with a battery girl cartoon or something. It'll rival Cyber Frog.
Double Duracell punch.
Dude, we should come up with that and try to fucking sell that to Duracell. Like, hey, you guys need a mascot? We came up with this on a podcast. There we go.
She looks like a generic superhero that would come with like a Duracell ad. So
yeah, there we go. Just boom. That's what's going to happen at Christmas. Captain Marvel. It's going to be in a toy ad, and they just put a Duracell battery in her, and she goes further, higher, faster, and then her chest lights up and she flies.
Yeah, see, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, John Carter's getting a lot of love in the chat. I liked that movie. I did. I pointed it out because it didn't do well, but yeah, I liked it.
I saw it in theaters, and somebody pulled the fire alarm. And the movie went off mid-movie, and I could never get back into it afterwards. But wasn't Willem Dafoe the voice of the alien?
I don't think it wasn't William Dafoe. It was
I can't remember.
Fuck, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm looking him up. Willem Dafoe. I could have sworn he was in John Carter.
No, it was
I know Mrs. Nerdrotic really likes the Taylor Kitsch because she watched Friday Night Lights and all that stuff. So yeah, William Dafoe, Tarkus.
Okay, I just thought that was him.
Thomas Hayden Church.
Thomas Hayden Church was in that movie.
Yep. I just like Lynn Collins as Deja Thoris.
I follow a lot of artists who draw her constantly. Mark Strong, God, that guy's in like everything.
Yeah,
seriously.
I liked him in Kingsman too. I was really sad what happened to him, but
yeah,
he's just awesome in fucking. Well, outside of was it the other Grimm Brothers movie with him and Sacha Baron Cohen? Everything else he does is awesome.
Bryan Cranston was in that movie.
Who was he in fucking?
Yeah, Paz Powell. Yeah, this movie has everybody. I don't remember it.
$250 million.
A ton of money, like a crazy amount. Like that's why they had to buy Star Wars and Marvel. Or did they have Marvel? I think they had Marvel.
They had Marvel then.
2009, yeah.
Yep. They didn't get Star Wars until after that.
Yeah, that would have. Yeah, the end of that year. I think it was October 30th, 2012. Because it was one of those moments, a red letter date, no pun intended, where I was in class at college, and I remember somebody telling me that Disney bought Star Wars and they're making more movies. And I remember talking to people outside of the class, and I was just like, wow, this is happening. 3 years later, my life would be different.
Yep. I wish I could find the podcast.
We got this channel.
Yeah. Gotta thank him for that. I thank him for that. We did a podcast in my comic shop the day Marvel was bought by Disney. I wish I could find it. There's a couple of guys like predicted everything that's happened so far. They were like Nerdstradamus. It was yeah. I figured it would get. I think my prediction was they would ruin the comics, but the movies would be good, and I think that's pretty much what's happened. So
that's a fair assessment. Stinky Pirate says none of this should surprise us. All Disney has ever done is tell watered-down versions of fairy tales. Star Wars and Marvel are modern fairy tales. That's true.
It's not completely unfair.
Astro Lime, welcome back. Is Captain Marvel the One Punch Man of the MCU?
No. One Punch Man was definitely a parody more so than anything, and his overpowering was to prove a point, as opposed to Captain Marvel. It's like, hey, we're proving how fucking awesome she is. Oh, you're fucking gonna love her. As opposed to One Punch Man was more like, this is how absurd this would be.
Bruce Lombardo is also back. Thank you again, Bruce. I don't have superhero burnout. I have Disney live action conversion burnout. The stuff is more pointless than Uwe Boll filmography.
Ooh,
that's harsh. I like
that. Harsh.
That is mean.
And then Chapter Master Dante says, in Shaft's voice, cover your ass with facts. I actually found out there was a Shaft TV show in the 70s.
Yep.
I did not know that, with Richard Roundtree. I was on one of those stupid little quiz things like, you may not know. And the last one was Shaft had a television series. I was like, wow. Kind of sad that didn't work because I like that movie.
It's a good one. Well,
folks, we have reached the end of the podcast. We wanted to talk about Endgame. We talked about Endgame for like a minute. But Dion, Kendo, Nick, and myself will be at Horror Hound Cincinnati starting tomorrow night. Yes. So if you're in the area, we'll be at Horror Hound at the Sharonville Convention Center. And we'll be there all weekend for the show times. And then that's it. Then we'll be at Star Wars Celebration in April. And as soon as I get official confirmation from our location scout and friend, I will make the big announcement about what we have planned for the Fandom Menace. Not just World Class Bullshitters, but the whole Fandom Menace. We'll all be there. And now Nerdrotic is going to try to be there. So it's going to be it's going to be a party. And you guys have anything else you want to say? Nerdrotic, promote your channel, man, while you're here. Some people may not know you.
I am the Nerdrotic channel. I cover television mainly and the MCU and commentary on entertainment and pop culture. And I will be going live in about an hour to cover Star Trek Discovery because I watch it so you don't have to. Thanks.
Dion, you don't have a channel. Nintendo, you don't have a channel. Check out Nick's channel, the what is it? Scary Drunk Podcast. Yeah, I want to give a shout out to him. We're going to be live all weekend, okay? So I'll be back with a video, Tales from the P.O. Box, where we're going to open up the greatest gift we ever received, the Good Morning Pop Culture custom-made mug, and Reality's Frank 500 action figures that he sent me. And then I think I might even put out the next part on Sunday, where you guys can see all the newest stuff we got. So if you've sent stuff in the last month or so, it's going to be in these next two videos. And again, thank you to everybody who sends us stuff, and thank you to everybody who watches what we do. We'll be back with a proper video later next week, and we'll have a podcast next week that covers everything we did at Horror Hound. And for the patrons out there that are waiting for after hours, because some of the guys are already in transit to get here, like Nick, what we're going to do is we're going to record a slew of exclusive content for you guys, only for the patrons, and it's going to be available throughout the weeks coming up. So do not stay up for after hours. It will not show up, but tomorrow night we're going to start recording stuff for you guys, and trust me, it'll be worth the wait. So as always, folks, thank you for watching. Admiral Tiberius says, glad I finally hear someone else loves John Carter. That was Mrs. Nerdrotic. Oh, okay. You and Mrs. Nerdrotic, right?
Yes. Well, she liked it a lot more than me, but for shirtless Tyler Kitsch or whatever his name is.
Yeah, but how does she feel about Battleship?
Oh, she hasn't watched Battleship yet.
Yeah, show her that one.
She'll probably like it.
The part where he falls through the ceiling in the beginning makes me laugh, and that's about it. But yeah, Battleship, that's one of those movies Joel owes me money for. So, folks, thank you. And as always, be excellent to. Wait, damn it. Logan Michael gets the final super chat. Pop gay. Thank you, Logan Michael. I appreciate that. And watch our video, Logan Michael. I may have got a pop or two in the mail. All right, folks, this is it. Don't get scared. Be excellent to each other.